Hello everyone, subscribe to my channel to not miss new trending manhwa.
A fallen helmet lies abandoned, mocking laughter still in the air. Morning arrives, a night stretches, a suited man sips coffee, a giant warrior watches. Without warning, the very ground starts to give way. Allies gather, sharing a moment even as the suited man passes by. Suddenly, a powerful tremor shakes everything, debris flying everywhere. Disturbed birds take flight, drawing everyone's gaze skyward. Our coffee drinker pauses, a flicker of unease on his face. His sharp eyes detect an imminent, unseen danger. Even the mug in his hand vibrates, mirroring the growing instability. Chaos erupts as a warning shouts, "The emoji is coming, fast." A deep grumble resonates, the very armor vibrating with the approaching menace. All party members prepare for battle. A woman in blue armor commands urgently. The diverse party stands ready. A legendary monster, never before witnessed, appears. Eyes tremble, reflecting the sheer terror of the unfolding chaos. A terrifying hiss erupts as a monstrous maw filled with deadly fangs lunges. The emoji fully reveals itself, a colossal dragon-like beast, its roar shaking the land. A system message warns of a fear debuff, yet a calm voice urges, "Be cool, people." Warriors raise their weapons, steeling themselves to get ready for combat. The monstrous emoji towers, as one hero prepares to meet it with a massive sword. Asterisk ding, asterisk a glimmer of hope. You have resisted against the emoji's skill fear. A raiding party of 3 elite players stands ready, a shimmering aura around them. A pink-haired woman announces her participation, confirming this as a top-tier raid. One hero grips his dagger, purple energy crackling as he acknowledges a powerful buff. The coffee drinker, now revealed as a fighter, smirks as he prepares for the incoming threat. A system window reveals his name, Choi Hyun-Seong, shockingly only level 1, a late bloomer. Choi Hyun-Seong's eyes narrow with determination, ready to engage, shall we? He takes a decisive step, the ground cracking under the force of his resolve. Hyun-Seong, in his suit, leaps impossibly high, dark energy trailing from his dagger towards the emoji. He soars through the air, aiming his energized dagger directly at the colossal beast's head. A massive crackle of purple energy explodes as he declares, "I'm a level 1 player." The scene shifts to a construction site, a voice announcing, "Okay, folks, it's time for a break." We see Choi Hyun-Seong, now 27, wiping sweat after a hard day's labor. He reflects on his past. 3 years ago, I was just your average college student. His life took a turn when his father contracted the incurable magic reflux syndrome. This mysterious illness emerged 19 years prior, coinciding with the appearance of portal gates. The opening of these portals brought unforeseen and radical changes to human existence. Most significantly, people began to awaken, gaining the ability to wield magic. However, this newfound power wasn't without its dark side, as a glowing hand hints. The portal gates proved to be a double-edged sword, a gift, yet also a terrible curse. Otherworldly monsters poured through these rifts, inflicting widespread devastation upon their world. And incurable diseases like magic reflux syndrome also emerged, a consequence of this new era. The world was scarred with remnants of destruction a common sight. But then players, those awakened with powers, began to tackle these new threats. They even profited, collecting valuable magic stones and items from defeated monsters. For these empowered individuals, the portal gates became a source of immense wealth and opportunity. Hyun-Seong sighs, reflecting that for people like him, these gates were nothing but a curse. His father's only hope, an inhibitor, requires a magic stone from a notoriously rare monster. The rarity of this ingredient made the life-saving inhibitor incredibly expensive. His sister sacrificed her marriage savings and took on extra work to help. Wiping sweat, Hyun-Seong admits that money quickly became a crushing problem for his family. Hyun-Seong's weary eyes reflect his exhausting, powerless reality. He muses that his grueling labor would be nothing for those with awakened powers. Players can shatter house-sized boulders with just their bare hands. They even leap effortlessly over towering skyscrapers. Hyun-Seong laughs wistfully. "I wish I was a player too." Evening falls as he heads back to his modest studio apartment. Exhausted, he collapses onto his bed, completely beat. "I really wish I were a player," he thinks, imagining the unimaginable fortunes they earn. But the mechanics of awakening are a mystery, with odds worse than winning the lottery. As rain pours outside, he resigns himself, believing it will likely never happen for him. Despite the odds, Hyun-Seong chuckles. "Still, I wish I awakened." He tosses in bed, the desire to be a player an ever-present, restless thought. Yet, he knows wishing alone isn't enough, or everyone would be awakened. Resigned, he grabs his towel, deciding to wash off the day's fatigue. "I should take a shower and go to bed," he mutters, heading to the bathroom. Suddenly, he stops, a strange hut escaping him as blue particles fill the air. He turns, bewildered, as an unseen force seems to lift his towel and swirl around him. Before him, a luminous blue hexagonal interface materializes out of thin air. A system message declares the impossible. You have awakened. His heart thumps. Hyun-Seong's eye widens in utter disbelief, reflecting the glowing notification. Hyun-Seong gulps, recalling a story of a lottery winner dying from shock, now understanding why. Gritting his teeth, he decides to check his newfound abilities status window. As the blue interface reappears, he anxiously hopes, I hope the stats are good. His eye widens in disbelief as the details of his status begin to load. The status window reveals his name, level 1, and shockingly low stats, strength 5, stamina 4, agility 3, magic 1. He clutches his head, groaning, I understand that luck comes into play, but further down, the window shows no active or passive skills, only an inherent skill, sell by. As thunder rumbles outside his studio apartment, he shouts in frustration, this isn't fair. Defeated, Hyun-Seong slumps into a chair, staring blankly upwards. A single tear traces down his cheek as he despairs, my stats don't even total 40. I must be cursed. Hyun-Seong stares at his hands, muttering his abysmal stats, 5, 3, 4, 1. A grim smile plays on his lips as the total sinks in, 18? He despairs, average players start with 50 total stats. Why is mine only 18? His status window chimes, showing points remaining, 5, a tiny glimmer of hope. Gasping, he realizes I need 6 or 7 level ups just to match a level 1 average. Worse still, he laments, no free active or passive skills, unlike most other players. He knows powerful skills attract fame and fortune, with top guilds clamoring to recruit. Most awakeners easily slot into roles like tanker, dealer, or healer, the standard path. But then, a glint in an eye hints at an exception to the rule. Kim Hannah, for instance, possessed a special buffing skill, breezing through job changes. She's one of only 10 buffers globally, and currently the only one in Korea. On the other hand, a few unlucky players stay low level due to their mediocre skills. Still, even their stat totals are above 18, and they possess a couple of useful skills. Hyun-Seong focuses on his status window, specifically his inherent skills, sell and buy. He thoughtfully considers what these unique skills might entail. His face reflected in the blue screen. They're not trash, are they? He murmurs, tapping the buy skill on the interface. An extensive list of items flickers onto the screen, making him gasp, WH what? The shop displays an elf warrior's sword and a dwarf warrior's hammer, both marked as rare. His eye widens in disbelief. This thing's rare class? Holy crap, he exclaims, instantly wondering, how much is it? He scoffs at the astronomical prices, noting sellers trying to make items seem cheaper. But what are these points? He wonders, questioning if it's a special currency. His jaw drops as his points remaining flashes an unbelievable to billion. Is this like game money? He ponders, swiping through the shop's vast inventory. Suddenly, his scrolling finger halts, a puzzled escaping him. He spotted an item of legendary class, a tier he never knew existed. He gulps, public knowledge capped items at heroic, making legendary a shock. Driven by curiosity, he taps the unbelievable legendary item on the screen. A demon lord's staff appears, its details frustratingly hidden by question marks. A system message pops up, cannot be purchased by a normal class buyer, mentioning a buyer rating. A new message appears, to buy rare items, he needs to earn 10 billion more points. His eye widens, the sheer scale of the requirement hitting him hard. He scrolls further, wondering if an even higher item tier exists beyond legendary. A sudden, desperate hope ignites within him. Could he find a cure for his dad here? He frantically swipes through the endless list of powerful, locked equipment. His finger stops dead on a legendary item, elixir. He recalls an elixir is a mythical cure-all. This could change everything. A small, determined smile touches his lips as a plan begins to form. Realization dawns, his buy and sell skills are meant for trading with these points. Relaxing on his bed, he considers his first move, acquiring valuable tanker skill books. His eyes widen, a sudden thought striking him with force. He spots a low-grade strength boost aid, questioning how he missed stat-enhancing items. Hyun-Seong briefly considers selling, but dismisses it, his focus returning to the buy screen. The strength aid cost nearly 5 million points. He realizes he can directly purchase stats. A confident grin appears with his inherent skill. Becoming overpowered seems possible if he's smart. He holds the small, red, gem-like strength booster between his fingers. Hyun-Seong stares at the item, skeptically wondering, is this thing really edible? Decisively, he pops the glowing red aid into his mouth. A sudden surge of energy courses through him, causing a pain grunt. His arm visibly strains, muscles bulging as a cracking sound echoes. Steam seems to rise from Hyun-Seong's back as the power settles. He pants, sweat dripping, amazed. All I did was raise my strength stat by 1. Clenching his fist, he marvels, and I feel powerful already. A determined finger points as he declares, I should try getting strong by using these points. But first, he eyes a rare skill book, Master of Skills, thinking, I bet I could make some serious money. Holding the skill book, he wonders aloud, now where should I stash the skill book? He lists it on the selling window for an astronomical price, nearly 1 trillion points. A confident look crosses his face as he thinks, now I won't have to worry about losing. His thought is cut short by a system message. A 20% fee is applied once your item sells, making him yell, thieves. Resigned, he stretches at his desk, muttering, oh, well, there's nothing I can do about it. Hyun-Seong, determined, decides to focus on the basics available in the shop. He confirms the purchase of a low-grade stat boost aid, understanding there are no refunds. A system notification confirms his purchase of a super low-grade stat boost aid. Suddenly, a massive pile of colorful stat boost aids and skill books appears on his desk. Satisfied with his acquisitions, Hyun-Seong decides it's time to visit the Player Association. He arrives at the bustling Player Association lobby, heading for new player registration. A receptionist at the registration desk politely asks how she can assist him. Hyun-Seong confidently declares his powers have awakened and he's here to register. The receptionist appears taken aback, a bead of sweat forming as she hesitates. She nervously questions if he's truly certain his powers have awakened. Hyun-Seong confidently replies, of course. Why are you asking? The receptionist explains, senior citizens of your age never awaken. The oldest was 58. He begins to question her. What are you talking about? Suddenly, he sees his reflection, an old man with gray hair and a mustache. His eyes widen in disbelief, staring at the unfamiliar, aged face in the mirror. Onlookers murmur, that old man came to register as a new player. Another whispers he's probably suffering from dementia as a staff member approaches him. The staff member gently asks, Sir, are you okay? As Hyun-Seong looks utterly lost. Staring at his aged hands, he realizes nothing in the world comes for free. Despite the shock, a flicker of determination returns to his eyes. With a worried expression, the aged Hyun-Seong swipes his hand, accessing a system interface. The screen displays his current balance, nearly 50 million points. His eyes widen in horror as he realizes the points are decreasing by 1 per second, representing his remaining lifespan. He stares at the ceiling, the grim reality sinking in as he mutters, damn. Lying on his bed, shirtless, his unexpectedly youthful physique contrasts with his aged face. A quick calculation reveals he has less than 1.5 years left. He desperately needs more points. He scans his cluttered desk, wondering if any of his mundane possessions could be sold for points. His hand decisively grabs a handheld game console, a glimmer of an idea forming. Sitting up, he tests the console, confirming it still functions perfectly. The familiar selling window appears, reminding him of the hefty 20% sales fee. He hovers the game console over the selling window, questioning, will it work? With a soft shh, his hand pushes the console onto the registration interface. The system identifies it, Nintendo Shift Portable Game Console, normal grade, 8 GB memory. 43 games. Hyun-Seong, looking older, points at the item details, mulling over the price. He scratches his chin, contemplating its worth. He remembers, I could sell this thing for up to 60,000 won at an online resale website. He types in a desperate price of 99,999,999 points, hoping it sells. Laughing nervously, he reasons, at least it has more than 40 games installed. Hoping it's not too expensive, a system notification pops up, item has been listed, and he lets out a relieved phew. He glances around his desk, thinking, what else can I sell? Meanwhile, in a lavish vault, treasure chests overflow with rare items. A powerful, horned figure scrolls through the market, unimpressed, muttering, nope. Her clawed finger dismisses rare artifacts, thinking, I already have this. Lounging on a skull throne, she sighs, I keep seeing the same boring stuff over and over again. She glances at her tattered wing, musing, what a pity. Don't they know that? Stretching languidly, she continues, you have to be fierce and compete for a market to thrive. Suddenly, her sharp eyes narrow with a curious A notification flashes, a godlike class item has been listed, shocking her, a brand new listing. Her eyes gleam with desire as she lunges, declaring, oh, I am buying this. The scene shifts to a city building at dusk, housing apartments and a massage parlor. Hyun-Seong, looking younger, checks his phone, exclaiming, phew, I have less wrinkles. He confirms, I was right. The points indicate how much life I have left, and points that I've lost can be recovered. His eyes gleaming with renewed hope, Elsewhere, a tiny, white bird rests serenely on a delicate tree limb. A curious voice questions the purpose of everyday items, a watch, phone, and USB. A gloved hand lifts a dark, beaded bracelet, examining it with an O. A silver-haired figure studies the bracelet, observing the numbers change as time passes. Their keen eyes narrow, a thoughtful expression crossing their face. They then erupt in laughter, holding up a modern digital watch with amusement. A traditional bell chimes softly in the breeze as they contemplate this strange technology. A pop-up appears on the phone. Allow access to mobile data. The silver-haired figure clutches the device, asking, a smartphone? Suddenly, a network connection lost message flashes on the screen. It changes to no internet connection, leaving the figure utterly baffled. Their eyes narrow in confusion. They admit, I have no idea what any of this means. Pondering, the figure cautiously taps the smartphone screen. Their eyes widen with a sudden O of realization. Their reflection stares back from the screen. Is it hexed so that it can turn into a mirror? The screen now displays a camera interface, prompting a curious, what is this? Their finger decisively taps the video option on the unfamiliar interface. The silver-haired figure gasps, my dear goodness, as the phone clatters to the floor. On screen, their face appears adorned with a magical hat filter, prompting, what sorcery is this? With a click, they seem to capture an image, their back turned for a moment. The phone now displays a clear photo of them, leaving them utterly puzzled by the photo option. A blush creeps onto their face as they gaze at the device, their heart thumping. They stretch their arm out, holding the phone aloft, ready for a new kind of picture. A coy smile plays on their lips as they strike a pose for a selfie. From a distance, they continue snapping photos on the serene, traditional balcony. The scene abruptly shifts to a magnificent, towering castle under a swirling, cosmic sky. Elsewhere, the horn figure slams their fists down, frustrated, damn it. I didn't get everything. The horn figure trembles with rage, vowing, whoever it is, you're dead if I find you. She calms slightly, pondering, anyway, what exactly are these artifacts? On a desk, everyday items appear, tissues, a bottle, glasses, and the game console. Her eye glows with an intense blue light, scanning the objects. The items are bathed in the blue glow as she questions, what purpose do they serve? Suddenly, the game console on the desk blinks to life. The horn figure turns, a look of surprise on her face. Her eyes widen as a notification seems to alert her to the console's activity. The console screen displays loading, baffling her. But how? I do not detect any magic from this. The scene shifts to an opulent chandelier hanging in a grand hall. Her eyes narrow, focused intently on the mysterious game. Her clawed finger rapidly taps the console's unfamiliar buttons. A sudden in-game explosion reflects in her now slitted pupil. The screen flashes a stark red game over message. She slumps back on her throne, utterly defeated by the strange device. Her immense frustration makes the grand chandelier tremble violently. Blue energy crackles around her as her eyes blaze with pure fury. I'm dead again, she roars as her in-game castle erupts in an explosion. The scene abruptly shifts to a quiet city street under a lone street lamp. Someone stands silently beside a car in the dim, urban night. The man in the cap quickly turns away from the car. A notification pops up. You can only list items that belong to you, confirming his suspicion. He walks down the street, a thoughtful on his face. Strolling along, he spots an old fan discarded on the sidewalk. Back at a computer, he points at the screen, initiating an action. A register item window appears, listing broken for an old model, surprising him. He looks at the actual fan, particles glowing around it, wondering, I can sell this. Pondering, he questions if his belief made it sellable or if there's a hidden system criteria. The scene shifts to an apartment building with a traditional Thai massage sign. Inside, he considers, I can sell up to 10 items per trade, as he eyes some items. His finger hovers, contemplating the point system. He notes the hefty 20% fee on potential earnings, sighing, that kinda sucks. Shaking it off, he refocuses on his computer. Anyway, back to business. The scene briefly returns to the studio apartment building. He groans, seeing his current points are only 999,999, far from the max. A bead of sweat appears as he mutters, darn, realizing the grind ahead. He collapses in despair. Oh, come on, that's 11 days worth of points right there. Suddenly, a ding makes him jolt upright, exclaiming, oh. A notification appears. Bakwa has filed a complaint about an item he sold. He stares in disbelief, a worried expression crossing his face. A complaint. He leans over his desk, shocked. No way, there's a complaint system in this thing. Bolting upright, he panics. That's not the problem right now. I need to lower the price so that. Another ding cuts him off, his eyes darting to the new alert. A notification flashes. All registered items have sold out. He stares blankly at the screen, completely taken aback by the sudden news. A nervous haw escapes him as sweat drips down his face. Relieved, he rummages through a bag. Oh, man. I was starting to panic because I thought nobody was buying them. A sly grin appears as he considers, maybe I should bump up the price. But another ding brings back the dreaded notification, Bakewa's complaint. He stares at the screen, a bead of sweat forming as he processes the warning. A stark notification details numerous complaints. 14 out of 20 items sold are defective. He identifies the source, muttering, this person named Bakewa filed a complaint. The first complaint appears. An old smartphone broke down in under 6 hours. Another buyer offers to cancel their watch complaint for a non-effective replacement. He internally panics. It's not broken. It's just out of batteries. More complaints flood in for cigarettes and a lighter, with one buyer issuing a threat. A last warning flashes for soju, demanding a new artifact immediately. The final beer complaint declares, you asked for it, as he begs for a moment. Frustrated at his desk, he exclaims, damn, come on, at least let me read the damn complaint. Sweat beads on his face as he stares, overwhelmed by the aggressive messages. His eyes narrow, realizing this person must be one of those difficult customers. A simple notepad and pen rest on his otherwise clear desk. He sighs, facing a 3-day business ban, with a 3-month suspension looming if complaints aren't resolved. Planning ahead, he decides to sell an old smartphone with a portable magic stone charger once the ban lifts. He speculates his customers, like the demon-like figure shown, possess unique skills and aren't from Earth. A glint in his eyes appears as he theorizes, maybe they're aliens from a primitive planet. Dragging his chair, he resolves to sell more tech-related items. He pulls up used goods RS, deciding, electronic devices it is. Spotting a discounted game console, he exclaims, oh, good, the price went down. Now that's a bargain. He tries to buy 10, but an insufficient funds message pops up, making him ask, huh? He rummages through his pockets, searching for more cash. He slams something down on a nearby shelf in frustration. Only a few coins clatter out, met with his exasperated curse. Desperate, he wonders aloud, should I sell that skill book? He then remembers, but I didn't even register as a player yet because of my ID card. A sudden realization hits him as his eyes widen. Wait. He quickly snatches up his smartphone. Back at his desk, he furiously taps away on his phone. The scene briefly cuts to the exterior of his apartment building at dusk. He sits in his chair, chin in hand, deep in thought, a plan forming. Another ding chimes from his smartphone, catching his attention. He glances at the phone, a spark of an idea igniting in his eyes. With newfound resolve, he quickly grabs a jacket. That's it, he exclaims, a confident smirk appearing as he slings it over his shoulder. The scene shifts to a building under construction, scaffolding reaching towards the sky. He's now at a bustling construction site, surrounded by chattering workers. He grunts, straining as he lifts a heavy object. He carries a large sack of cement, stepping purposefully across the site. A fellow worker exclaims, "Oh, Choi, you're good at this," impressed by his strength. Another worker gives a thumbs up, asking, "Have you worked somewhere before?" Choi chuckles, casually replying, "Yeah, I've been here and there," while effortlessly carrying the cement. 3 days pass, and night falls over his studio apartment building. Back in his room, a cardboard box rests on his desk, containing an old phone. His computer screen beeps, counting down the final seconds of his sales suspension. A sly herb escapes him as he watches the timer approach 0. "My suspension is over," he declares, rummaging through the box for items to sell. A notification chimes, his suspension is lifted, and he can register items again. "Back in business," he exclaims, a confident grin spreading across his face. His eyes gleam with renewed determination, ready for his next move. But just as he's about to start, a new complaint from Geshvit pops up, threatening another suspension. He gulps, sweat dripping, as the new threat looms. The notification details Geshvit's complaint, warning of another suspension. Another ding echoes as he sits at his desk, the clock showing 23:01. A stark message, 20 out of 20 items sold are defective, triggering a 3-day ban. Shocked, he realizes every single item he listed received a complaint. What's the problem this time? He wonders, staring at the 4-day resolution deadline. He taps yes to read Geshvit's complaint, bracing himself. The complaint for a Nintendo Shift console is aggressive, threatening violence. He sighs, hand to his head, muttering, "Oops, I forgot the batteries." Ding, another complaint, this time for Breen sunglasses with an even shorter, angrier deadline. Ding, a complaint for Zai Little Gum demands he list a new item now, with a curse. Another for a disposable lighter threatens, "I'm opening a portal gate, and I'm coming for you." He screams in frustration, "Why are all my customers a bunch of assholes?" Slumping in his chair, he mutters, "I'm suspended for 3 days again." His determined eye narrows. A 3-month suspension looms if complaints aren't solved in 4 days. He sighs, shoulders slumped, clearly defeated by the mounting pressure. Gritting his teeth, a spark of resolve ignites despite the setbacks. The scene shifts back to the familiar building under construction. He's back at the construction site, effortlessly carrying a stack of heavy cement bags. Choi smiles cheerfully at a coworker, still carrying the heavy load with ease. 3 days later, a couple of pay envelopes rest on a surface. Cardboard boxes are now stacked neatly in his apartment. Back at his desk, Choi thoughtfully taps his chin, eyeing a holographic screen. He figures his troublesome buyer will definitely purchase this next item, especially since the batteries fit. He places down a pack of ancient-looking batteries, wondering about their lifespan. A notification announces a sales suspension is finally lifted. Perfect, he thinks. With a smirk, he confidently interacts with his sales interface. His eyes widen slightly, a new plan clearly clicking into place. Ho, he exclaims as a notification pops up. Item has been sold. More ding sounds chime as he sits at his desk, ready for the next wave. A notification pops up. Complaints for 14 items are now resolved. Another ding, 6 more complaints resolved, prompting an IT work from Choi. He beams with satisfaction, the resolved message reflected in his eyes. Suddenly, a massive point total flashes on screen, over to 0.1 billion. A confident smirk plays on his lips as he internally screams, I did IT. Choi throws a fist in the air, cheering yay at his successful sales. He ponders his next move, thinking, retro consoles and smartphones are a must. Aha, he murmurs, a new idea sparking. But before that, his thought continues, I should go register myself as a player. Choi stands decisively, a determined glint in his eye, ready for this new chapter. To become a player, Choi learns he needs 3 weeks of mandatory training at the Player Academy, also known as boot camp. An instructor explains that failing the test means extra training, and passing is crucial for the player card. Choi and other recruits train with wooden swords. Merely awakening powers isn't enough. With a powerful strike, Choi shatters the top of a training dummy. The instructor congratulates Choi Hyun-Seong on passing the test as others applaud. A jealous recruit mocks Choi, calling him a loser with normal class skills, irking him. Another trainee defends Choi, retorting that rare skills don't automatically make someone superior. Choi calmly interjects with a slight smile, reminding them they all have a long journey ahead. 3 weeks later, the instructor commends the group. Good job, everyone. As the group disperses, someone calls out to Choi, who turns with a thoughtful gaze. A fellow trainee invites Choi to an after-party with a hopeful smile. Another recruit chimes in, eager for Choi to join them for drinks. Choi politely declines, laughing it off and mentioning family commitments. As he walks away, others express disappointment, while Choi focuses on his own path. The scene shifts to the impressive Player Association building against a bright sky. A closer view reveals the modern, glass-fronted skyscraper of the Player Association. Inside, a smiling staff member announces, here's your registration card. Choi beams, holding his newly acquired player card, inking finally. Ta-da! The card displays his details. Choi Hyun-Seong, class normal. Holding the card, Choi smirks, ready to sell his skill book and earn money for his dad's hospital bills. Choi arrives at the Jackalope Dungeon rental office, facing a hefty fee. His hand trembles slightly as he prepares to pay with his card. The smiling shopkeeper thanks him, warning about late return fees. Now, geared up in basic armor, Choi grumbles about the constant expenses. He can't believe the high cost for standard gear, essential for dungeon entry. Outside, the area bustles with parties desperately recruiting tankers and healers. One recruiter even offers to pay dungeon fees, promising safety for a healer. Choi observes, surprised by the high demand for specific roles even in low-level dungeons. He approaches the Jackalope dungeon entrance for levels 1 to 5. Knowing even weak monsters are dangerous, his status window reveals he's level 1, with sell and buy his inherent skills, plus some basic combat abilities. Choi, looking at his status window, confidently states he doesn't need a party. He reveals his plan, hunt the Jackalope solo, and claim he found the Master of Skills skill book inside. Choi approaches the imposing dungeon gate, which beeps open as a guard permits entry. A dungeon official asks if he has party members, to which Choi replies, just me. With a determined stride, Choi sprints towards the open dungeon entrance. He glances back, guessing the official thinks he's a reckless fool for attempting a solo run. His thoughts acknowledge that even high-level players rarely hunt alone, as party play is usually advised. As he runs, he knows this isn't a game. One mistake could mean death or the end of his hunting career. The narration emphasizes the danger, stating it's best to have allies watching your back. The official and a guard watch him go, the guard exclaiming, Did that guy enter all by himself just now? The official remarks, let him be. He needs to learn his lesson. Choi stands alone before the glowing, ominous dungeon portal. He gulps nervously, a bead of sweat on his temple, sword on his back. The heavy dungeon gate slams shut behind him, plunging the entrance into torchlight. Choi takes a determined step forward into the dimly lit dungeon. He marvels, so this is what a dungeon looks like, as dust motes swirl. The long, dark corridor stretches before him, lit by flickering wall torches. Suddenly, a sharp clang echoes, and Choi's eye widens in alarm. Ugh! Choi grunts, raising his shield defensively, bracing for impact. A monstrous, red-eyed jackalope appears, towering over him as he stands ready. Choi's eyes widen in terror, realizing, that's no bunny, that's a beast. He steels himself, observing the jackalope's firm, twitching ear. The beast rumbles, baring sharp fangs, as Choi decides to assess the situation. Choi yells, activating his taunt skill to draw the monster's attention. The jackalope's glowing red eye fixes on him. Choi exclaims, yes, it fell for it. With a ferocious leap, the fanged jackalope lunges straight at Choi's raised shield. The monster slams into the shield with a mighty bomb, and Choi thinks, nice. His shield creaks ominously under the immense pressure of the attack. Suddenly, the shield cracks and shatters, flying from his grasp with a whoosh. Choi stares in stunned disbelief, now defenseless and vulnerable before the beast. A helmeted trainee shouts, everyone, attack! During a chaotic group drill. Narration explains all awakened players undergo 3 weeks of intense mandatory training. But these were ordinary people, unaccustomed to the brutal reality of combat. Elsewhere, a party member anxiously asks their swordsman, are you okay? Yes, I'm fine, he gasps, revealing the extreme difficulty for new hunters. Another player smashes a mace into the jackalope's side with all their might. The beast stumbles, its red eyes momentarily losing their ferocious gleam. Now, a blonde swordsman cries, dashing in to seize the critical opening. Choi watches the desperate fight, his earlier bravado starting to fade. He gulps, a chilling realization dawning. Perhaps I've underestimated this low-ranked dungeon. The blonde swordsman lunges, aiming a strike as the jackalope swipes its massive paw. He grits his teeth, pouring all his focus into the desperate attack. With a mighty stab, the swordsman drives his blade deep into the beast's flank. The monstrous jackalope finally collapses with a heavy thud. The fight is over. Choi watches, shocked, 8 minutes for one bunny, as a distant crash echoes. He notes other parties also struggled, while nearby guards seem utterly unconcerned. One even snickering. A safety guard ID from the Korea Players Association is shown, implying their presence. Choi realizes the guards don't care about individual struggles, perhaps only a total party wipe. He turns away, thinking at least he won't have to worry about being watched closely. Choi glances at his own status window, confidently believing he can handle a jackalope alone. Choi activates his stealth skill, his eye glowing blue in the darkness. He silently advances, a faint silhouette stepping through the misty dungeon corridor. A flickering torch illuminates the sign, Jackalope Dungeon Lower Level. Elsewhere, the hunters on a platform exchange congratulations. Good job, team. Lee Soo-hee, vice captain, and Kim Ji-soo, healer, appear, Soo-hee thanking their team. Ji-soo cheerfully tells Soo-hee, I bet it will spawn soon. Soo-hee appreciates the sentiment, a soft click hinting at a comm device. The other hunters promise Soo-hee we'll do whatever we can to catch it alive. Soo-hee replies, all right, let me know when you do, as another click sounds. The 2 hunters confidently declare, don't worry, we're quite tough, we'll catch it. Soo-hee glares, frustrated. The problem is that it won't spawn. The 2 hunters bow apologetically, promising we'll do our best. Ji-soo tries to reassure her, but Soo-hee internally notes, it's been 2 weeks already. Soo-hee's internal monologue reveals, my job change prerequisite is defeating the alpha jackalope. As a fierce jackalope is shown, Soo-hee scoffs. What good is an easy kill if it never shows up? She grits her teeth, vowing, I'll kill that sucker the moment it does. Soo-hee decides, let's go, Ji-soo, as they activate Drape of Darkness amidst sleeping jackalopes. Walking through the slumbering beast, Ji-soo asks, by the way, did you hear the news, Soo-hee? Ji-soo begins to share gossip. The captain of Unit 3 and the youngest junior of Unit 2 smuggled supplies from. Soo-hee turns, surprised by the unfolding rumor. Huh? Ji-soo spots a lone figure stepping through the dim dungeon corridor. Soo-hee sighs, having already noticed him. As Ji-soo exclaims, he must be here alone. Ji-soo tilts her head, wondering aloud if his party was wiped out. Soo-hee silently observes the distant, solitary hunter. She notes his lack of injuries and that he's using a stealth skill. Ji-soo agrees, while Soo-hee's puzzled by his solo presence. Suddenly, Soo-hee's eyes widen in shocked disbelief. No freaking way, she gasped, spotting the rental tag on his gear. Realizing he's a newbie, Soo-hee watches him reach for his sword, utterly baffled. As Choi approaches a massive sleeping jackalope, Soo-hee questions if he's a crazy solo assassin. Soo-hee internally scoffs, thinking even with the skill he'd need to be level 30 for a one-hit kill. But with a sickening thud, the massive jackalope collapses, slain instantly. Soo-hee and Jisoo gasp in unison, utterly stunned by the newbie's feat. Choi lets out a breath of relief, standing over the fallen beast. His heart pounds, a bead of sweat rolling down his face from the adrenaline. Despite the easy kill, Choi's hand quivers, his body still reacting to the danger. He flinches, steeling his resolve. This is for Mom, Dad, and my sister. Choi stands surrounded by more defeated jackalopes, while others growl, ready to pounce. He sighs, looking at the fallen beast. Come on, no items? Look at all these bunnies I killed. Shucks, Choi exclaims, a little disappointed by the lack of loot. Choi activates stealth again, then prepares a covert strike. With a swift stab, another jackalope shrieks and falls. He stands over the defeated beast, a thoughtful escaping him. Watching him use stealth once more, Soo-hee wonders, he's not a newbie? Jisoo turns to Soo-hee, a hint of concern in her eyes. Soo-hee's gaze remains fixed on Choi, her expression intense and calculating. A new rule is introduced, the level 20 rule, as Choi slashes through the air. An infographic explains, defeating higher level monsters grants experience, but hunting monsters 20 levels lower yields absolutely nothing. Furthermore, a large level gap means less chance of items as a jackalope's body dissolves. The rule states, once you reach level 20, the monster drops nothing. Choi grips his sword, his hands still trembling slightly as he exhales. Soo-hee grins. I knew it. This has to be his first hunt. Jisoo, curious, asks Soo-hee, who is he, Soo-hee? Soo-hee chuckles. I'm not sure either, as Jisoo asks to watch him longer. As Choi slashes another jackalope, Soo-hee agrees. Sure, why not? Soo-hee muses internally, I've got nothing to do back at home anyway. The word pierce appears as Choi's sword flashes through the air. He lunges forward, executing another covert strike on a jackalope. Soo-hee's eyes widen slightly, a surprised huh, escaping her lips. A gleaming blue crystal drops from a defeated jackalope as Choi exclaims, all right. He proudly holds the crystal, announcing, that makes 5. Choi's eyes narrow in concern, wondering, is leveling up supposed to be this hard? With a swipe, he pulls up his status window, searching for answers. His stats reveal he's still level 1, prompting the thought, I'd be leveled to by now with a party. He laments the lack of a visible EXP bar, unlike in games. Gripping his sword, Choi reassures himself. Still, I'm sure I'll level up in an hour. 5 hours later, surrounded by fallen foes, Choi stares at his unchanged status. The window confirms his fears. Still level 1, no progress made. Something's not right, he thinks. Choi looks utterly bewildered, recalling, I heard you can level up after hunting for a day or 2. Choi's eyes widen in disbelief, a shocking thought striking him, no way. With a swish, the Systems by menu appears, displaying incredibly expensive items. He stands before the glowing shop interface, a jackalope looming large in the foreground. Choi takes a decisive step forward, his resolve hardening. He springs towards the monster, sword raised, the shop menu still active nearby. The jackalope collapses with a heavy thud as Choi continues his assault. His attention snaps back to the shop, revealing an astounding 2 billion points available. Maybe, Choi considers, as another jackalope lets out a menacing grrr behind him. A quick slash silences the monster's kick. As he cuts it down, Choi's eyes narrow with intense focus, a crucial realization dawning. Choi realizes he has 140 stat points, but his remaining points are over 2 billion. He stares at the shop, exclaiming, does this mean I can't earn EXP in here? No freaking way. His eyes widen in panic. Then. How do I level up? Soo-hee and Jisoo watch from afar, Soo-hee wondering, why is he so down all of a sudden? Choi slumps to the ground utterly depressed, thinking, I'm screwed. He recalls earning 150 million points from selling electronics, but only 100 per jackalope. Choi scratches his head, completely bewildered by the situation. He forces a smile, trying to stay positive. Okay, let's think positive. This isn't too bad. As Choi sits dejectedly, a jackalope stealthily approaches him from behind. Without looking, Choi swiftly slashes backward, dispatching the unseen threat. Choi's eyes narrow with renewed focus, a plan forming. He stands, shouldering his sword, muttering, okay, as if accepting his fate. Suddenly, he's surrounded by a pack of growling jackalopes, the odds stacked against him. His gaze sharpens, the reflection of the beast glinting on his blade. With a powerful slash, Choi cuts through the encroaching monsters. He lets out a weary sigh as another jackalope thuds to the ground. One leaps, but Choi's blade meets its snarling face with a swift cut. As the monster shrieks its last, Choi calmly steps past its falling body. He pauses, a thoughtful escaping him as a notification window appears. Unbelievable achievement, it declares, awarding him the title Jackalope Hunter for soloing 300 foes. Choi's sword rests against a cave wall. The battle momentarily paused. He stands before his glowing status window, absorbing the new information. The window confirms his new title, Jackalope Hunter, though he's still level 1. Choi taps the title on his status screen, curious about its benefits. The Jackalope Hunter title grants +1 stamina and can be upgraded to rare. He thoughtfully considers the title, initially believing it might be common. A sudden realization hits Choi. Most would level up long before such an achievement. His heart thumps with excitement. This normal class title feels surprisingly special. Choi faces the wall, lost in thought as Soo-hee watches from a distance. Soo-hee can't help but snicker, while Jisoo looks at her, puzzled by her amusement. Soo-hee observes Choi with a knowing smirk, a finger pressed to her lips. Looks like we got ourselves a whopper here, she thinks as a sword tip pierces its target. Soo-hee's eyes narrow. One-shotting a jackalope repeatedly isn't just luck. As another monster falls, she realizes Choi's skill is something more. She recalls him standing alone, surrounded by a horde of jackalopes. Even when heavily outnumbered, Choi remained unfazed. With swift slashes, he cut through the monstrous rabbits, Soo-hee watching intently. She notes his composure, finishing every foe with a single, decisive strike. Soo-hee gulps, a determined glint in her eye. We need this guy. She raises a gleaming blue crystal, a plan clearly forming. Choi, sword on his back, decides to explore further when a voice calls out, "Hey there." He turns in surprise to find Soo-hee and Jisoo standing behind him. Choi's eyes widen slightly as he internally questions players. He observes their impressive, high-end equipment, wondering who they are. Jisoo offers a friendly wave, reassuring him, no need to be alarmed. We're just safety guards. Choi, still a bit wary, asks what brings them to this part of the dungeon. He points out that safety guards don't usually patrol dungeons, and they lack ID cards. Jisoo explains they were returning from a mission protecting the inner portal gate. She adds that they used a stealth skill, which is why Choi didn't notice them. Choi looks down, shocked, realizing they were nearby all along, a stealth skill. Soo-hee cheerfully admits, "Anyway, we saw you hunt for quite some time." She adds he was an eye-catcher for a low-level user in the Jackalope dungeon. Soo-hee then directly asks, "I'm sorry, but what's your level?" causing Choi's heart to thump. Choi internally confirms he's level 1 with 270 stat points, deciding to keep a low profile. He looks down, carefully considering his response. Jisoo, with a serious expression, interjects, "Do I have to tell you what level I am?" She quickly clarifies they're just curious, then reveals, "I'm with the Seo-Woo Guild." Choi's eyes widen in recognition. Seo-Woo Guild. The Seo-Woo Guild is revealed as a mega guild backed by Korea's largest conglomerate. Jisoo beams, offering, "If you can let me check your status window, I'll gladly help you with joining our guild." Choi internally smirks. Now that's a problem. He reviews his level 1 status, realizing he can't level up normally. He knows a typical level 1 couldn't possess his array of skills. Choi gulps, worried they'll discover his unusual strength gain despite his low level. He politely declines, "I'm not interested in joining a guild," surprising Soo-hee. Choi turns to leave, dismissing their offer. Soo-hee quickly rushes forward, calling out, "Wait." Startled, Choi turns back, a bead of sweat on his brow. He faces Soo-hee, his hand near his sword hilt. Soo-hee stands before him, a determined look on her face. Soo-hee, incredulous, asks, "You don't know our guild?" Choi nervously chuckles, I know about the Seo-Woo Guild." Soo-hee presses further, "And you still don't want to join?" Choi touches his chin, looking away. "Well," he states, "being part of a team is not my thing, and I don't find the need to join a guild either." Soo-hee, still trying to understand, asks, "Are you affiliated with another mega-sized guild by any chance?" Choi firmly replies, "No. Like I said, I'm not interested in joining a guild." Jisoo watches them, her expression unreadable, holding her staff. A subtle, knowing smile plays on Soo-hee's lips as she thinks, "Yes, it worked." Choi, with a slight smirk, asks, "Now if you'll excuse me, could you please get out of my way?" Soo-hee pauses, a thoughtful well escaping her lips as her plan takes shape. She extends a Seo-Woo Guild card, promising, "Reach out for the best payment and treatment." Choi takes the card, casually stating, "I'll think about it," as he begins to walk away. Soo-hee then offers, "Done hunting? You can follow us out," causing Choi to flinch slightly. With a knowing smile, she adds, "It might be the easier way out, just you standing by." Choi firmly declines, "No thanks," continuing to walk deeper into the dungeon. Soo-hee mutters, "What a snob," then internally muses he'll mature eventually. Jisoo chimes in, flustered, "Totally, he'll regret this later on," as Soo-hee crosses her arms. Jisoo suggests, anyway, let's get out of here, as their feet turn to leave. Okay, Suhi, Jisoo agrees, and they step out into the bright sunlight of a town. Choi trudges through town, shaken, muttering to himself. They weren't joking. He nervously glances over his shoulder, the intense encounter still fresh in his mind. Near the massive dungeon gate, he spots Suhi and Jisoo, wondering, are they not out yet? His eyes land on a taxi stand, a beacon of escape, under the vast sky. The taxi driver turns around with a friendly smile, asking, "Where to, sir?" Phew, Choi gasps, sinking into the back seat. Just get me out of here fast. Sweating and anxious, Choi's urgency is clear as the driver replies, "Oh, gotcha." The yellow taxi speeds along a desolate, winding mountain road, putting distance behind them. Partway through the journey, Choi leans forward, calling out, "Excuse me." Phone in hand, Choi looks up from his screen, responding to the driver, "Yes?" Choi, still in the taxi, requests, "Can you drop me off at the Blood Fox dungeon nearby?" The driver congratulates him on clearing the Jackalope dungeon, to which Choi awkwardly says thanks. As the driver mentions taking many players there, Choi glances at his phone, a thought forming in the driver's mind. Choi's eyes narrow with focused determination. He checks his level 1 status, wondering if his unique leveling condition persists in other dungeons. Arriving at a new town, Choi overhears players recruiting for dungeon parties. He observes the familiar scene, noting, feels similar. Choi approaches the dungeon registration desk, a guard standing watch nearby. When asked about party members, Choi confidently smiles, "It's just me." He turns and strides towards the imposing Blood Fox dungeon gate, ready for a new challenge. Inside, a fierce Blood Fox bares its fangs with a low growl. Elsewhere in the dungeon, a party of adventurers cautiously faces a monstrous black cat. Choi, observing the dungeon's layout, crosses his arms, deep in thought. His eye narrows, a plan beginning to form. He spots two guards, one asleep, and thinks, "Good." A sly grin spreads across Choi's face as he activates his stealth skill. Now unseen, he ventures into the Blood Fox dungeon's lower level, where the small foxes prowl. Choi tests his blade with a swift swing. Satisfied, this will do. He glances at his status screen, a confident smirk playing on his lips. With a powerful slash, Choi cuts down a group of blood foxes in an instant. Choi notes 180 points for one blood fox as he taps his status screen. He clenches his sword hilt, preparing for more action. A blood fox lunges, but Choi ducks under the attack. He swiftly maneuvers, his glowing blade ready. Choi charges forward, sword trailing behind him. He stands over to more defeated blood foxes, their shadowy forms dissipating. Choi looks up, a hint of surprise on his face. A menacing pack of blood foxes emerges from the darkness, growling. Undaunted, Choi faces the new threat, uttering, "Now." He declares with determination, "Let the real hunt begin." 2 hours later, Choi's kill count nears 300. His silhouette flashes, a blur of relentless sword strikes against the blood foxes. With a final thud, Choi's eye glints as he reaches his 300th kill. A system notification pops up, "Unbelievable achievement, Blood Fox Hunter title acquired." Choi smirks, just as expected, pleased with his progress. He commands status window, eager to see his new gains. His stats reveal the new title, a +1 boost to strength and stamina, though still level 1. Choi notes with satisfaction, "My strength went up this time, huh?" He pulls his sword from the ground, realizing, different stats for each title, I guess. Choi now faces an even larger horde of blood foxes, undeterred. The blood foxes bare their teeth, eyes glowing menacingly in the gloom. Choi smirks, sword resting on his shoulder. "Okay, it's time for my second experiment." 7 grueling hours pass, his sword plunged into the dungeon floor. Exhausted, Choi leans on his sword, letting out a weary phew. He stands before a mountain of defeated foxes, a bright system window appearing. A notification declares, "Unbelievable achievement, rare class. Title Blood Fox Devourer acquired." Relief washes over Choi's face. Phew, the class has been upgraded. His status shows the new title and another strength boost, though still level 1. The title details reveal plus to strength and potential for a heroic class upgrade. Utterly spent, Choi slumps against the cold dungeon wall, breathing heavily. Exhausted, Choi decides, "I should come back tomorrow." He picks up a gleaming blue crystal shard from the dungeon floor. His bag is already brimming with a hoard of these valuable crystals. Suddenly, Choi's eyes widen with a surprised, "Huh?" He discovers another drop, a skill book. Its rigid body, normal class, a passive body hardening skill. DING, a notification, already learned skill, cannot use skill book, leaving Choi puzzled. Ugh, if only I knew, he sighs, the duplicate skill book hovering. He then checks the value of another rare find, Master of Skills. Listed for an incredible 999 million. "I'm taking this too," Choi declares. The valuable Master of Skills book glowing faintly in his grasp. Choi emerges from the dungeon, passing other adventurers under a spiked gate. At the exit, a blue tray sits ready on a processing counter. A staff member instructs, place all items including magic stones on the basket on your right. Choi, carrying his loot-filled bag, approaches the official at the counter. As Choi steps forward, the staff member looks up from his desk, intrigued. The man gasps, he got this many? Seeing Choi's bag overflowing with blue crystals and a rare skill book, Choi smirks, knowing the man is thinking. Nobody ever got a rare class skill book from this dungeon before. The staff member stares, beads of sweat forming, utterly astonished by Choi's haul. Choi turns to the stunned official, a confident so, on his lips. A wide grin spreads across Choi's face as he asks, am I good to go? The scene shifts to a modern city, sunlight glinting off tall buildings. His blue crystal shards are neatly arranged on a processing tray. The staff member announces that all comes up to 840,000 won, sir, as Choi exclaims, ho. 2 skill books, including the valuable Master of Skills, sit separately on the counter. Choi smiles, replying, okay, thanks, satisfied with the arrangement. His foot clacks confidently on the polished floor as he turns to leave. Choi calculates, at this rate, I could probably make at least 1 million won per day. A wide grin spreads across his face as he thinks, being a player is awesome. He takes a satisfying bite out of a kimbap roll, chewing thoughtfully. Choi enjoys his meal on a park bench, the imposing dungeon gate visible in the distance. Choi munches his kimbap, thinking, should I look into a motel? He taps his sword, it takes too much time to commute, so today's the day. His eyes narrow with resolve. I'm going to upgrade my title. Back in the dungeon, a blood fox's glowing eyes and bared fangs greet him. Swoosh, Choi lunges, sword a blur, cutting down another fox. After a long battle, he exhales, phew, dust settling around him. Swish, a new system window appears, unbelievable achievement, heroic class. Choi exclaims, ooh. The notification reads, you have hunted 5,000 monsters. Title Blood Fox Killer, heroic class. Choi thinks, finally. Another notification appears, catching Choi's slightly surprised attention. It declares, first heroic class achievement winner, rewarding another title. Choi processes the incredible news, the first player to earn a heroic class achievement. He realizes, so others got rare, but I'm the first asterisk for heroic. Choi sheepishly admits, I did cut corners, but I'm not complaining. He eagerly pulls up his status window. His stats are massively boosted, including a new +2 from the first heroic class achievement winner title, making him exclaim, oh, man. Choi's eyes widen in disbelief. My stat total is 100 points higher. The system confirms, first heroic class achievement winner, heroic class, grants a massive +20 all stats. He muses, a bonus for being the first title winner, nice. His Blood Fox Slayer, heroic class title now gives plus for strength and can upgrade to legendary. Choi grins, impressed by the upgrade, that's pretty awesome. Choi's eye widens as a thought strikes him, wait. He realizes his Blood Fox Slayer title is capable of growth, upgradable to legendary. Choi muses, maybe I'll be the first to earn a legendary class achievement. Decisively, he sheathes his sword, okay. I'm calling it a day. Exhausted, he trudges away, groaning, I just can't anymore. Leaving defeated foxes behind, Choi resolves, and there's always tomorrow. A sign reads Self Motel Blood Fox Dungeon Branch, as the scene jumps 10 days later. Choi strolls confidently through a settlement near the dungeon, looking refreshed. A dungeon torch ignites with a fiery swoosh, signaling his return. Slosh. Choi is back in action, effortlessly cutting down more blood foxes. A new system alert pops up. Unbelievable achievement. Choi's eyes narrow, anticipating the details of this new achievement. Done. It's a legendary class achievement, 10,000 higher level monsters hunted solo. Rewarding Blood Fox Slayer, legendary class. Another window declares him the first legendary class achievement winner, granting yet another title. His sword clangs to the ground as he thinks, now that's what I call hard work. With a flick of his hand, Choi summons his status window. His status reveals incredible boosts, strength 70 plus 68, agility 70 plus 60, and the first legendary title active. A glint in his eye, Choi murmurs, jackpot. Done. The first legendary class achievement winner title alone grants a staggering plus 40 all stats. Choi throws his head back and laughs, absolutely thrilled with his power-up. Choi relaxes in the dungeon, grinning. What a blast. He taps his glowing blue status window, reviewing his achievements. The Blood Fox Slayer, legendary class title is maxed out. He's a bit sad it's over. Choi muses he could have exploited the Blood Fox dungeon even more. The flickering dungeon candles mark the end of this chapter. He stands, rummaging in his pouch, already planning his next move. Oh, well, Choi decisively sheathes his sword, ready for new challenges. He strides off, thinking, plenty of other places for me to explore and hunt. A sign for the low-level jackalope dungeon flashes by, far beneath him now. Choi is already tackling new foes, his sword a silver blur. Choi lets out a breath, phew, after clearing out more foes. He's now in the jackalope dungeon, facing a swarm of the horned rabbits. With a swift move, Choi uses his sword hilt to forcefully subdue a jackalope. SLAM, the jackalope smashes into the dungeon wall, defeated. Choi smirks, I'm probably strong enough to take out a jackalope with my bare hands by now. As another hisses. His eyes narrow with focus, okay, then. He drops his pouch, deciding, time to go back. The scene shifts to the exterior of the Gag Motel at night. A phone notification pops up. Player auction house, the item you have listed is sold. Choi, toweling his hair after a shower, checks the message on his phone. Choi considers, I do need to visit the auction house anyway. I guess I'll make it a payday. He smirks confidently at his phone, ready to cash in. The scene shifts to the impressive, modern buildings of the city's auction house district. A cheerful auction house employee tells him, please check the amount and sign. Choi, now at the counter, looks at the sales slip with a puzzled huh. His eye widens in disbelief as he processes the details on the receipt. The sales receipt shows massive earnings for his skill books, but his hand trembles at the hefty VAT. Choi grimaces, that's a lot of deductions, vowing, I'm never selling skill books with points ever again. Outside, he resolves I should head back and hunt some more, eyeing his net earnings of roughly 333 USD. He recalls, it took me less than 10 days to earn 10 million won from selling magic stones. From lower-level dungeons, Choi calculates he could make 100 million a month, noting his points are also accumulating nicely. He eyes the locked elixir in the system, realizing he's getting closer to affording it. The scene shifts to a bus stop, with a digital display showing arrival times. Choi waits for the bus, dressed in his usual hoodie, a thoughtful expression on his face. He reflects on not buying new clothes since his dad's hospitalization. Choi recalls his family's past struggles, unable to afford such luxuries. The bus pulls up to the stop where Choi and another student are waiting. With a determined smile, Choi steps onto the bus, thinking, it all ends today. The scene transitions to a nondescript building under the dark night sky. Inside, workers in white lab coats operate machinery on an assembly line. Rhying, a digital clock on the factory wall strikes 7 a.m. A supervisor announces, that's a wrap everyone, good job today, as workers finish their shift. One worker, Choi's mother, lets out a weary sigh, clearly exhausted. The scene transitions to the dark, starry night sky, indicating time has passed. Outside the factory, workers bid each other farewell, see you tomorrow, and good night. Choi's mother walks alone down the quiet street, the sound of her footsteps echoing. Suddenly, a pair of sneakers steps into view, stopping just behind her. Choi, now standing before his mother, calls out, Mom. His mother turns, a look of disbelief on her face. Did I hear that right? Choi waves cheerfully, exclaiming, Honeyvo, Mom, you look so thin. Choi gently holds his mother, a warm smile on his face as she looks up at him. His mother, surprised but happy, asks, What are you doing here, hun? Choi laughs brightly, replying, I'm here to see you, of course. A close-up reveals his mother's touch smile, a hint of tears in her eyes. As they walk, she wonders if he's grown taller and asks if he's eaten dinner. He answers, no, not yet. I wanted to have dinner with you. His mother looks at him, a flicker of pleasant surprise on her face. Oh, really? She then calls him by his name, Hyun-Seong, her expression turning more serious. His mother explains she can't go home yet, as she still needs to go wait tables. She hands him some money, telling him to order food and promising a hearty breakfast tomorrow. Choi insists, but you haven't had dinner yet. Let's go together. His mother smiles warmly. I'll grab something at work. Go home, hun. He offers, I'll go with you. I can help. But she gently refuses, concerned he's tired. A subtle, knowing smile plays on Choi's lips as he looks ahead. Choi stops, turning serious. Actually, Mom, there's something I need to tell you. His mother turns back, a questioning look on her weary face. A confident smirk appears as Choi prepares to share his secret. Choi beams, a faint glow around him. My powers have awakened. His mother stares, her eyes wide with utter disbelief and shock. She stammers, What do you mean? Trying to comprehend his words. Choi proudly presents his official player registration card to his mother. He beams, holding up the card. I'm a player now. Choi confidently declares, Your day is working to jobs at the factory and restaurant end tonight. His mother looks down, her expression shadowed with deep concern. She voices her immediate fear. It's dangerous. her eyes wide with worry for him. Choi tries to reassure her with a light laugh. Safety first is my motto. You can quit now. His mother firmly states, I can't, adding, it's not like players always make money. She elaborates, from what I heard, you need to invest a lot when you first start. Choi scratches his cheek, admitting with a slight smile, yeah, sorta. He then grins broadly, exclaiming, but let's just say that I hit the jackpot. Choi presents his mother with the bank book, simply saying, look. She hesitantly takes the bank book, her face etched with concern. Her eyes fly open in utter shock. A 1 billion. Choi explains he sold a rare skill book, enough for dad's bills and their debt. A single tear splashes onto the ground, marking the emotional weight. His mother's face contorts with emotion as she whispers, I'm sorry. Overwhelmed, she begins to cry, wiping her eyes. I'm so sorry, honey. Choi quickly reassures her, Mom, don't say that. What are you sorry for, please? He continues earnestly, if it weren't for you and Dad, I wouldn't even be here. A tear traces a path down her cheek as she finally says, thank you, honey. They arrive at Top Quality Happy Tribe, her demanding second job. Mom introduces Choi, who offers to help with the closing tasks. The owner laughs, gratefully accepting his unexpected assistance. Choi, now aproned, blitzes through a mountain of dirty dishes. Her boss and mom watch, utterly amazed by his speed and skill. He works tirelessly, a proud smile gracing his mother's lips. You're a lifesaver, Hyun-Seong, the owner declares. We can close early. They bid the staff good night, finally done with the long day. Under the dark sky, they walk towards their apartment building. Back home, Mom stretches out her tired body as Choi greets her. Choi peeks into a room, cheerfully greeting, hi sis. His sister, startled, lets out a surprised huh? She asks what he's doing there, and Choi reassures her he has great news. The three of them sit on the floor, ready for a family discussion. Choi and his mother share a knowing, happy smile towards his sister. His sister looks on, her expression a mix of curiosity and apprehension. Choi, with a confident profile, announces, I awakened. His sister's eyes widen in disbelief, exclaiming, what? He grins, holding out the bank book, and I hit the jackpot too. Here. His sister stares at the bank book, utterly shocked, 1 billion. His sister, holding the bank book, asks in disbelief, is this for real? Choi beams, yeah, it's real from now on. It's smooth sailing for us. Leave it to me. Tears begin to stream down his sister's face as the news sinks in. A single drop splashes onto the floor, mirroring her overwhelming emotion. She breaks down, wiping away the tears of relief and shock. Their mother gently pulls her daughter close, offering comfort. Choi watches them, a tear in his own eye, reflecting on how life was. A close-up shows a tear tracing a path down Choi's cheek, full of emotion. Night falls over their apartment building, a sense of peace settling in. The family sleeps soundly, mom and sister together, Choi nearby, all finally at ease. Choi sleeps with a contented smile, a stark contrast to his family's past worries. Morning arrives, and a note on the table reads, see you in the evening. His sister, already up and in an apron, asks, are you sure about staying here? Adding, yeah. Dungeons are everywhere these days. Choi, dressed in casual clothes and sneakers, prepares to leave as his sister asks, what time are you coming home? He confidently replies, I'll be home by the time you're back from work. Choi turns, a bright, reassuring smile on his face. His sister, looking concerned, questions his attire. It's okay to just wear those. Choi grins, explaining, yup, I rent gear from nearby stores anyway. To which she hesitantly replies, okay. With a wave and a duffel bag slung over his shoulder, Choi heads out, see you later. The scene shifts to a quiet hospital building under a dark, cloudy sky. His mother stands outside, her call to Choi failing, your call cannot be completed. Worry clouds her face as she murmurs, I hope nothing happened in the dungeon. Choi suddenly skids to a halt beside her, sorry, I'm late. He catches his breath, explaining, the traffic was so bad that I decided to run. His mother playfully whacks his arm, exclaiming, you almost gave me a heart attack. As Choi apologizes, they arrive at a hospital room, the sign reading noted Choi Hyun-Woo. Inside, their father, Choi Hyun-Woo, lies peacefully asleep in bed. Choi and his mother stand by the bedside, her hand resting gently on his shoulder. A close-up reveals Choi's determined gaze fixed on his sleeping father. Looking down at his father, Choi vows, I promise. I'll make sure you are back in good health, Dad. 10 days later, a system notification dings. Choi has achieved legendary class. He stands victorious over a massive slain jackalope, a testament to his new title. Checking his watch, Choi notes the time, contemplating his next move. With unwavering stamina, he declares he can continue hunting for another 6 hours. Choi approaches a desolate dungeon, one notoriously ignored by other players. The area is eerily empty, not a single other player visible near the portal. He eyes a sign, Vampire Bat Dungeon, levels 10 to 15, considering the challenge. Inside, menacing vampire bat swarm known for their tricky, coordinated attacks. Choi reflects that newbies usually struggle here without experienced backup. A confident smirk plays on his lips, hinting he's up for the task. Choi enters the dungeon, his polished shoes an odd choice for the grim interior. Activating stealth, an astonished nitrogen monoxide way echoes in his thoughts. Deeper in, a fully armored knight chuckles to his comrade, "I kid you not, my friend." The two guards remain oblivious, snickering at their post as Choi slips past. Silently, he presses forward into the shadowy depths of the bat-infested cave. "Geez, this place is creepy as hell," Choi mutters, red-eyed bats hanging ominously. Countless pairs of glowing red eyes pierce the oppressive darkness above him. Choi stretches, a confident smirk appearing as he readies himself, time to cut loose. A shimmering blue hexagonal aura briefly flares around his form. "Stealth disengage," he announces coolly, a determined glint in his focused eyes. The hanging bats awaken, their myriad red eyes snapping open. Choi deliberately pricks his finger, a single drop of blood appearing. A nearby bat's eye glints, instantly drawn to the fresh scent. The swarm descends like a shadowy torrent towards Choi's glowing aura. "Ho," he murmurs, observing the overwhelming numbers. They're like one big tidal wave. Countless bats converge, a rustling, dark mass forming on the cave floor. Choi counters, conjuring a fireball that flickers to life in his hand. His magic slams into the swarm, the impact echoing as bats are violently thrown back. Wiping sweat, Choi pants, "Phew." Casting his skills at once sure ain't easy. Undeterred, he stands firm, sword grounded, fireball blazing, ready for the next assault. Choi muses, "Other than that, this is a pretty useful trick," as a fireball blazes in his hand. He smirks, thinking it's perfect for dungeons teeming with small monsters like these. His eyes narrow with focus as he prepares to unleash more power. With both hands, he conjures an even larger inferno, declaring, "This is as big as it gets." Straining, his eyes reflect the intense effort of maintaining the massive spell. "Catch!" Choi yells, launching the colossal fireball towards the bat swarm. A deafening kaboom erupts as the fireball detonates, engulfing the area in flames. From the heart of the explosion, a monstrous, dragon-like bat emerges unscathed. Choi grunts, bracing himself against the shockwave and the terrifying new foe. A shimmering blue hexagonal shield materializes around him, deflecting falling debris. Choi, shield still active, utters a surprised WOW at the monstrous bat. His eye narrows, a spark of resolve igniting within him. The giant bat lets out a piercing keek, its shadowy form lunging forward. Choi sheepishly admits, "Okay, I admit that was a little too flashy." A small flame flickering in his hand. Surrounded by his glowing shield, he is now circled by several large, shadowy bat figures. A determined grin spreads across Choi's face as he declares, "Round 2. One of the monstrous bats, fangs bared and eyes glowing red, swoops in for an attack. Choi narrowly dodges as another fiery boom erupts where he just stood. A sudden ding sounds, and Choi glances at a newly appeared system window. The notification announces an unbelievable achievement, rare class, for hunting 1,000 higher-level monsters alone, rewarding him the title Vampire Bat Devourer rare class. Choi muses, "Maybe I'll earn a legendary class achievement before time's up." As red energy swirls below, he eagerly wonders how many items and magic stones he'll get this time. Suddenly, his eye widens with a questioning "huh?" as a red glow intensifies. A crimson energy vortex crackles and gathers in the center of the cavern. From the swirling energy, an ornate, bat-winged sword materializes with a swish. Choi looks on, utterly bewildered, asking, "What the hell is going on?" The newly formed, crimson-edged sword hovers, emanating a dark power. He realizes the residual magic from the dead monsters merged as he reaches out. Choi cautiously takes hold of the mysterious, newly forged blade. A system window pops up, Vampiric Sword, rare class. Which steals life to recover strength and magic. Choi exclaims, "Huh, it's like having two for the price of one." Impressed by the sword's dual benefit, he muses, and most importantly, who knows if I'll get another. Eyeing the rare blade. A fiery kaboom erupts as he tests his theory that normal monsters can drop rare items. The vampiric sword is shown again as he considers hunting monsters in packs for more drops. A glint in his eye reveals a new thought. What if I hunt rare class monsters in packs? 1 week later, another massive boom echoes through the dungeon. Only fading sparks and embers remain after the fiery blast. Several red magic stones lie scattered, but he sighs, maybe it's not that simple. Kneeling, Choi rubs the vampiric sword, surrounded by the glowing magic stones. He realizes the residual magic won't merge. It only happened once when I first got the vampiric sword. Choi peers into his bag, checking his loot after the dungeon grind. A system window reveals a vampire bat's cape, rare class, but he thinks, well, that sucks. He sighs, noting its rare rating is pretty much its only good quality. With a slight smile, Choi decides, I guess that's it for today. He takes a step, planning, I'll go to another dungeon and try to get a new title. Choi stretches with a yawn, vampiric sword in hand, ready to depart. A few days later, the scene shifts to Aju Real Estate Inc. A woman, likely his mother, looks at him with concern, asking, Are you sure about this? She worries, this house must cost a lot of money. Don't you need some money for yourself too? Choi laughs reassuringly. Don't worry about it, Mom. I'll make sure not to spend too much. A real estate agent at his desk offers a welcoming welcome. Choi, with his mom, confirms, yes, I'm the person who called you just now. The agent enthusiastically asks if they're interested in the 1138 SQ. FD. Apartment across the street. Follow me, the agent gestures, as Choi's mom internally questions the large size. His mom voices her concern at Choi. Don't you think it's a little too big? Choi laughs, reassuring her, Relax, Mom, it's about time we all had our own rooms, don't you think? A week later, the scene shifts to impressive, modern apartment buildings. Inside their new, spacious living room, someone exclaims, Wow, this place is huge. Choi, standing in the new apartment, turns and asks, What do you think, sis? His sister, beaming with joy and hands clasped, replies enthusiastically, I love IT. Choi confidently tells his sister, Someday, we'll move to an even bigger place, and she chuckles. His sister, Content, smiles and replies, This will do. Their mother watches them with a warm, pleased expression. The scene transitions to a delicious spread of jjajangmyeon and sweet and sour pork on their dining table. Choi, with puffed cheeks, happily exclaims it's tasty as he and his sister enjoy the meal. His sister thoughtfully suggests, Mom, we should visit our neighbors tomorrow and hand out rice cakes. Their mom beams, readily agreeing, Yes, sounds good. Choi, mouthful, chimes in, Let's do just that tomorrow. A close-up shows Choi's satisfied smile as he thinks, This feels great. As the family eats, Choi wistfully hopes, The next time we do this, I hope Dad's here for IT. A framed family photo sits on a table as Choi hopes they can all be together soon. Suddenly, a glowing blue portal rips open in the sky above the city. The portal leads to the Blood Rat Dungeon, suitable for levels 8 to 10. Inside, the vicious blood rats with glowing red eyes bare their sharp teeth. Choi, now in armor, turns with a questioning sensing their presence. One rat lunges, narrowly missing as it crashes into the ground. Choi flips acrobatically through the air, vampiric sword in hand, evading the attack. Upside down, his eyes widen in surprise at the creature's speed. He lands lightly on his feet, sword poised for a counterattack. A slight smirk plays on Choi's lips as he notes, They're quicker than I thought. With a swift slash, Choi cleaves through several blood rats in a single motion. He smirks confidently, twirling his vampiric sword. Fire ignites in his hand as he declares, Time to win my next title. Choi stands his ground, a small flame in hand, as a horde of blood rats surrounds him. Later, a duffel bag overflows with glowing red magic stones at a transaction counter. A nervous attendant stammers, Why, you're all set, sir, clearly overwhelmed by the haul. Choi cheerfully waves goodbye, saying thank you, as he leaves with his bag. A woman's elegant black high-heeled shoe steps into frame. Choi turns, hearing someone call out, Mr. Choi Hyun-Seong. A woman with a knowing smile greets him. It's nice to see you again. Choi's eye narrows as the woman begins, Allow me to properly introduce myself. She stands formally, stating, I'm Lee Soo-hee, Vice Captain of Seo-Woo Guild's 1st Unit. Lee Soo-hee leans in slightly, her expression serious as she asks, Have a moment to spare. Choi's eyes widen in recognition, he thinks. She's that safety guard from last time. A flashback to 1 week ago shows a fist slamming a desk as someone yells, Who the hell is this guy? In the flashback, Lee Soo-hee appears flustered, replying, I'm not sure, sir. A computer screen displays Choi's player registration, detailing his surprisingly high magic stone count. Ma Ji-hoon, Guildmaster of Seo-Woo Guild, stares intently at Choi's profile. The Guildmaster, running a hand through his hair, calculates. He must have killed at least 10,000 monsters by himself. Lee Soo-hee, in the flashback, speculates, maybe he has a special skill of some sort. The Guildmaster muses, whatever it is, I bet it overrides the level 20 rule. A confident smile spreads across his face, he declares, We need this guy in our guild. Lee Soo-hee's eyes show her resolve, understanding the Guildmaster's intent. As he heads for the door, Lee Soo-hee affirms, I agree with you, sir. The Guildmaster strides forward, stating, I'll team you up with a negotiations expert. He glances out at the city, adding, But since you two have met before, Try and go talk to him first. Turning back, he suddenly recalls, oh, right? His eyes glow intensely as he glares, questioning. You didn't leak this information to anyone else in our guild, did you? Lee Soo-hee visibly shivers, clearly intimidated by his sudden intensity. She quickly reassures him, no, sir. Not even the vice guild masters are aware of this yet. Lee Soo-hee, in the flashback, recalls telling Jisoo to keep quiet too. The guild master's lips curve into a subtle, pleased smile. He affirms, good, satisfied with her secrecy. Back in the present, Choi stands surprised by Lee Soo-hee's sudden appearance. He wonders with a bead of sweat. How did she find me? Lee Soo-hee offers her card, promising the best terms if he joins their guild. A brief flashback shows Lee Soo-hee suggesting to another woman, it might be the easier way out. Choi glares, teeth gritted, thinking, you bastards. He demands, how do you know my name, and how did you find this place? Lee Soo-hee bows slightly, apologizing. I'm sorry if we've made you uncomfortable, but Lee Soo-hee sweats as Choi grills her. Did you run a background check? Bribe the dungeon managers? Suddenly, a man in a sharp suit steps forward, greeting, hello, Mr. Choi Hyun-Seong. The man confidently adjusts his tie, preparing to speak. He smiles smoothly, asking, can we go somewhere and talk in private? Choi flatly refuses no and walks off, leaving them behind. The man taps his glasses, unfazed by Choi's abrupt departure. He then calls out, then, mind if we visit you at your place? Making Choi pause. Choi whips his head around, a bead of sweat tracing his temple, clearly annoyed. The man explains with a smile, we were waiting for you here as our way of being considerate. You know. Outside a Chong Cafe, the man introduces himself. My name is Ko Jin-sung. Ko Jin-sung reveals he's the lead recruiter for Seo Woo Guild's headhunting team. Choi cuts straight to the point. What do you want from me? Ko Jin-sung chuckles. We want to recruit you, of course, as Choi internally scoffs at joining. Choi's eyes narrow, unimpressed, while Ko Jin-sung offers a smooth apology. Ko Jin-sung feigns understanding. I would have felt the same, and apologizes for their directness. He claims their recruitment methods are more civil than other guilds. Choi thinks Ko Jin-sung's explanation is nonsense, even as the recruiter boasts of their prestige. Despite the recruiter's dubious claims, Choi admits, but he has a way with words, that's for sure. Ko Jin-sung flinches slightly as Choi simply says, okay? Choi leans in, a smirk playing on his lips. How much is my annual pay? Any down payments? Ko Jin-sung chuckles, saying details come after Choi reveals his level, stats, and skills. Choi realizes Ko Jin-sung wants him to show his cards first. Ko Jin-sung counters, promising a minimum 10 billion down payment and 1 billion annually. Choi, sweating slightly, thinks, something's not right. As Lee Soo-hee sips her drink, Choi wonders if they're grooming him to be their main player. He considers that no guild invests 10 billion in a newbie, no matter their potential. Choi recalls Kim Hana, the nation's sole buffer, whose high demand justified such an offer. He muses, I haven't proven anything yet, and my skills not special like Kim Hana's either. A glimpse of Choi's cell, and by skills, he's certain Ko Jin-sung doesn't know. A quick flashback shows Lee Soo-hee cheerfully handing Choi his registration card. Choi remembers only telling the player association his level, not his unique skills. He sits in his hoodie, a bead of sweat on his brow, still puzzled by their huge offer. Choi's eye narrows as a thought strikes him, maybe. Ko Jin-sung looks slightly perplexed by Choi's sudden contemplation. Choi directly questions, is this because of the magic stones? Ko Jin-sung visibly flinches while stirring his drink, asking, what do you mean? Choi's eye widens slightly, catching Ko Jin-sung's subtle reaction. Lee Soo-hee glances over, wondering, did I see that right just now? The camera focuses on a plain white mug on the table. Choi's gaze sharpens, a new understanding dawning in his eyes. Choi observes Ko Jin-sung, thinking, this guy looks like he has no idea what I'm talking about. His gaze shifts to Lee Soo-hee, but the lady here seems to know something. Choi muses, honestly, I don't think Seo Woo Guild is after my magic stones. He wonders, do they think I have some special skill or a certain expertise that only I know? Ko Jin-sung subtly adjusts his glasses, glancing towards Choi. Ko Jin-sung then asks, what seems to be the problem? With a confident smile, Ko Jin-sung assures him, you won't be losing anything from this deal. Choi's expression remains stoic, his jaw set. He eyes his coffee, retorting internally, do I? Choi thinks, I think I lose plenty enough as a player just from revealing my status window. As Lee Soo-hee sips her drink, Choi thinks, plus, you've promised me nothing yet, a bead of sweat on Ko Jin-sung's temple. Ko Jin-sung laughs nervously, no, that's a misunderstanding. We'll work this out once you show us your status. Choi sips his drink, demanding, if you're so sure about recruiting me, I demand a down payment of 100 billion. He continues, then, I'll reveal everything there is to know about me and join your guild as well. Ko Jin-sung sweats. I'm sorry, but we can't give you the payment unless we check your status window. Choi stares blankly, holding his mug, as Ko Jin-sung's words hang in the air. Choi's eyes narrow. Then I have nothing more to say to someone who wants to force this deal on me. Choi walks away, his sneakers hitting the pavement, leaving the cafe behind. He glances back, deciding, yeah, I should steer clear from them, and considers limiting his magic stone farming. A duffel bag is shown, overflowing with a massive haul of red magic stones. Back at the cafe, Lee Soo-hee thinks, I let myself be known, as her heel clicks. She smirks, it's nice to see you again, realizing they've likely figured her out. Later, Choi's phone buzzes, displaying an unknown number. He looks at the screen, puzzled, who's this? Choi answers, and it's Ko Jin-sung. Hi, it's Ko Jin-sung from Seo-woo Guild. I think I was a little too rash. Before Ko Jin-sung can finish, Choi's finger moves to end the call. He hangs up abruptly, muttering, you persistent bastards. Night falls over the city as a notification dings from Choi's apartment. Choi, toweling his hair, turns towards his phone. HMM? A text from Ko Jin-sung pops up, apologizing and inviting him to lunch to discuss the offer. Choi's eyes narrow, clearly annoyed by the persistent messages. He sits on his bed, decisively tapping away on his phone. A notification pops up. You have blocked this user, shutting down Ko Jin-sung. Transition to Choi in a dungeon, a crimson tendril of energy striking out. He's fiercely battling a pack of wolf-like monsters, fully geared up. Later, as Choi walks home at night, Ko Jin-sung is unexpectedly waiting for him. Ko Jin-sung bows deeply, a gesture of sincere apology. Choi walks right past him, completely ignoring the guild recruiter. The scene shifts to another dungeon, this time teeming with blue, reptilian creatures. Choi stands ready, eyes glowing red, as he prepares to slash through new foes. Defeated blue reptilian monsters fizzle out on the dungeon floor. Choi, sweating, looks relieved at his status screen after the battle. His screen displays a massive point total, as he notes his aging has stopped. Choi grins, confident he'll acquire the coveted elixir soon. He then selects the Red Mane Wolf dungeon for levels 15 to 20 on a map. A vibrant blue dungeon portal hums as adventurers gather before it. Inside, the ferocious red mane wolves with glowing eyes bare their fangs. A party of adventurers charges forward, battle cries echoing in the dungeon. Choi observes the powerful wolves, noting their strength compared to previous foes. He smirks, utterly unfazed, anticipating an easy clear. Choi gestures, intending to check his status window. His stats reveal he's only level 1, but powerful enough for level 60 to 70 monsters. He twirls his new axe, aiming for the Red Mane Wolf Hunter title. With a confident smirk, Choi declares, let's get started. Inside the Red Mane Wolf dungeon's lower level, a discarded mace lies near a bloodstain. A massive shadow with crunching sounds falls over a downed adventurer. Oh Chansu, a level 71 adventurer, stares up in dawning horror. Two monstrous, red-eyed wolves loom over him, one gruesomely chewing on a fallen comrade. Enraged, Oh Chansu channels crackling blue energy, shouting, why you son of a... Suddenly, he's splattered with blood, his expression frozen in shock. Oh Chansu gasps, his eye wide with terror as fresh blood splatters his cheek. The colossal wolf looms, its red eyes glinting as it continues to crunch munch on its prey. Nearby, a pair of elegantly armored boots steps onto the dungeon floor. Oh Chansu clutches his injured arm, his mind racing. This thing is truly a monster. His face is a mask of pure terror, teeth gritted in a silent scream. It's not too late yet, he desperately thinks as his foot takes a shaky step backward. He turns to flee, clutching his wounded shoulder, a look of grim determination mixed with fear. But a massive, dark shadow instantly falls over his face, blocking his path. His gloved hand falls limp, his body slumping lifelessly against a blood-streaked wall. Elsewhere, Choi takes a step into the dungeon entrance, noting the crowd. This dungeon does seem pretty popular. Other adventurers chatter excitedly, unaware of the dungeon's deeper dangers. Choi's keen eye observes, noting, usually, people don't go this deep down a dungeon. A sense of unease flickers across his face as he murmurs, this worries me. A flashback reveals a glowing purple portal, explaining how new gates appeared for years until a heroic dungeon emerged. An armored foot, wreathed in faint purple energy, steps decisively onto the dungeon floor. The narration continues, stating new players awaken yearly, as figures enter the shimmering purple expanse. Suddenly, a ferocious red mane wolf with glowing crimson eyes snarls, ready to attack. Choi takes a firm step forward, undeterred by the immediate threat. He moves with blinding speed, a crimson blur as he decapitates a wolf in a single motion. Choi's expression is grimly focused, a low growl rumbling in his throat. Choi glances back as 3 more red mane wolves lunge at him from above. A confident smile spreads across Choi's face, anticipating the challenge. With AFWIP, he twists in midair, conjuring a fiery glow in his gauntlet. He unleashes a fireball, causing a massive kaboom that engulfs the area. Choi takes a step forward as the dust settles, revealing the defeated wolves. Undeterred, 2 more wolves GRAWL, their red eyes fixed on him. Choi calmly raises his small shield, ready for their onslaught. His lips curl into a knowing grin, utterly unfazed by the new threats. Wham! Choi powerfully bashes an attacking wolf with his shield. The wolf lets out a whimper, recoiling from the unexpected force of the blow. With a mighty SLASH, Choi's axe sends a wolf's head flying. Blue energy crackles in his gauntlet as he prepares a magic missile. He thrusts his hand forward, unleashing the glowing projectile with a whoosh. The missile finds its mark, and another wolf drops with a THUD before the remaining pack. Choi smirks confidently, beckoning the wolves forward, bring it. The remaining wolves growl ferociously, charging at him in a blur. He meets their charge head-on, his fist glowing with power as he punches. The defeated wolves FZZZT and begin to dissipate into particles. Only shimmering blue crystals remain where the formidable beast once stood. A notification pops up. Unbelievable achievement, normal class, granting him the Red Mane Wolf Hunter title. Choi admires his glowing axe, remarking, I must say, this vampirism ability is awesome. He glances back, axe at the ready, declaring, looks like I'm done. Deciding to press on, Choi grabs his bag, thinking, let's keep moving. He takes a step out from the shadows, bag slung over his shoulder. Suddenly, Choi pauses, a curious escaping his lips. Below, a party of adventurers battles fiercely against more wolves, one shouting hi-ah. Choi takes a deliberate step closer, observing the ongoing fight. One adventurer yells ha, swinging his sword as another defends with a shield. Choi seems unimpressed, muttering, forget it, as he continues his step. He notes their presence, casually stating, oh, another party. Choi chuckles awkwardly, scratching his head as he considers his next move. He decides, maybe I should move on to another dungeon, and starts to walk away. Suddenly, a horrifying AAGH and a sickening crunching sound stop him in his tracks. He spins around, alerted by another piercing scream and a swift, sharp sound. The scene darkens, hinting at a brutal demise as unseen figures are violently attacked. Massive, blood-stained claws flex menacingly, promising further carnage. Choi watches intently, a bead of sweat on his brow, as the situation escalates. A terrified, purple-haired adventurer flees, screaming, what the hell is this monster? A colossal, shadowy paw slams down with devastating force, splattering the ground. Only a drifting lock of purple hair remains, a grim testament to the adventurer's fate. Choi's eye widens, reflecting the horrific aftermath of the attack. He stands near the purple-haired adventurer's still form, a grim scene unfolding. Choi covers his mouth, a look of profound shock and unease on his face. A sickening gurgle echoes from the darkness, a single crimson eye glaring menacingly. A colossal, 3-headed shadowy beast materializes, towering over Choi. Shaster's tea, Choi mutters, sweat beading on his forehead as he assesses the dire threat. One of the monster's heads slowly licks its razor-sharp fangs, its gaze fixed on him. Choi propels himself backward, narrowly evading a devastating slam. He lands, facing the terrifying creature as it takes a deliberate step forward. Despite the palpable fear, Choi's eyes narrow with grim determination. One of the beast's heads snarls menacingly, its red eyes glowing as Choi thinks, this thing's dangerous. The monstrous creature activates its stealth ability, its form blurring. Choi gasps, no way, as the beast reappears, flanking him. A colossal paw, claws extended, swipes ferociously towards Choi. His eyes widen in disbelief, realizing, stealth doesn't work on this thing. Choi desperately leaps backward, narrowly evading the monstrous attack. He lands hard as the ground shatters from the force of the beast's blow. A close-up on Choi's eye reveals his frustration, damn it. He wobbles, shards of rock falling around him from the devastating impact. Choi grits his teeth, his expression hardening with grim resolve. Choi bravely leaps towards one of the beast's massive maws, dagger first. He quickly brandishes a shield, activating shield stun midair. The beast retaliates, sending Choi flying backward with a powerful blow. Choi grunts in pain, his face contorted as he braces for impact. The monster's head snarls, its red eyes burning with fury at the attempted stun. He skids across the ground, cloak whipping around him as he tries to regain his footing. His bag lies discarded, his shield now shattered into pieces beside it. Undeterred, Choi's hands begin to flicker with gathering orange energy. He unleashes a devastating fireball, triple shots attack directly at the beast. The creature roars, its face is contorted as the fiery projectiles find their mark. Choi quickly snatches his discarded bag, remarking, that was close. He sprints away, his cloak billowing, realizing that hardly left a scratch. Glancing back, Choi's expression is a mix of frustration and resolve. The beast licks its fangs unfazed, as Choi wonders where the hell did this thing come from. A nervous laugh escapes him. This dungeon is supposed to be for players from level 15 to 20. Undeterred, Choi conjures another fiery orb in his hand. He launches two more fireballs, arcing them skillfully through the air. The fireball double shots explode against the charging beast's shoulders. Choi grits his teeth, concerned. I won't have any mana left if I keep going like this. A menacing crimson eye of the beast glares through the smoke and embers. The beast roars, lunging with terrifying speed as Choi desperately flees. A brutal whack sends Choi stumbling, the impact jarring him. He gasps, a bead of sweat tracing his shocked expression. Choi skids to a halt on the ground, the three-headed monster towering menacingly above. He groans, momentarily stunned beneath his cloak. Peeking out, a relieved Choi realizes, I'm alive. His vampire bat's cape, a rare class item, proves stronger than rental gear. Choi glances up, a new determination hardening his gaze. The beast's colossal paw stomps down with earth-shattering force. Dashing away, Choi admits to himself, I can't win like this. Choi considers a risky move. I'll probably lose some HP for this. As he rapidly scrolls through an interface, he frantically searches for an item. Come on, where is it? As the beast closes in, then exclaims, yes, he's found it, a low-grade agility boost aid, a small green gem for oral consumption. Choi quickly consumes the agility aid with a crack, thinking, just what I need. The scene transitions, a torch burns brightly, indicating 20 minutes later. Choi skids to a halt, his boot digging into the ground, ready for action. A smirk plays on his lips as he feels the power-up. I feel the all-stat aid kicking in. Facing the monstrous heads, Choi calculates his enhanced capabilities now. My stat total comes up to. His hand ignites with a ferocious blaze, channeling immense fiery energy. He unleashes a powerful fireball which kabooms directly into the beast's face. The beast shrieks, kyegh, as flames erupt around his head. Choi thinking, nice. A confident smile spreads across Choi's face. He taunts the beast, hey, try and catch me. You're welcome to try, his hand still ablaze. Choi focuses his fiery energy, preparing another projectile. He hurls another fireball, which whooshes through the air. The beast's red eyes flicker as Choi declares, and another, launching a second fireball. One of the beast's paws sizzles and smokes from a direct hit, grawr. Choi grins, if I keep this up I should be able to take this sucker out. His confident expression falters, as he notices something alarming. The beast's wounded paw begins to rumble and regenerate, Choi exclaiming, what the hell? This thing can also regenerate. Choi, looking grim, admits, I'll need something stronger than fireballs. His hand quickly swipes across a holographic interface, searching. The beast snarls, its crimson eyes fixed on him as Choi thinks, damn. He grips his bag tightly, a determined look on his face. Choi sprints, wondering aloud, I wonder if there are better skills to use. The three-headed beast lets out a terrifying roar as it gives chase. A close-up shows Choi's unwavering gaze, a plan forming. He finds a fire spear skill book. It's a little expensive, but this much should be fine. The ornate skill book materializes, glowing softly in his hand. Choi's eye reflects his newfound determination to master this skill. Choi spins and drags himself across the ground, narrowly avoiding a crushing stomp. Fiery energy crackles intensely around his gloved hand as he channels the new skill. The three-headed beast lets out a furious roar, its red eyes glaring. A massive claw swipes menacingly close as Choi, a fiery blur, dodges. He stands firm, a brilliant fire spear materializing in his grasp, ready for combat. Choi gulps, a bead of sweat on his brow, hoping desperately, I hope this works. His grip tightens on the blazing spear, raw power thrumming through it. Taking a deep breath, Choi poises himself, preparing to unleash his new attack. With a mighty cry of fire spear, the projectile streaks through the air. The spear explodes spectacularly against one of the beast's heads. Choi grins, sweat dripping. It worked as the smoke clears. The wounded beast still towers over him, its remaining heads growling menacingly. One head roars in fury, its crimson eyes burning with rage. Choi's eyes narrow with resolve, nice. Here goes another. He hurls a second fire spear, which streaks towards the beast's other head. The monster retaliates, forcing Choi into a desperate dodge as claws swipe past. Choi clicks his tongue, TSK, as his bag tumbles to the ground with a plop. Undeterred, he now wields two blazing spears and a shield, ready for more. A smirk plays on his lips. It's just you and me, buddy. Choi expertly pivots on his heel, preparing his next move. The beast's remaining heads glare, claws extended, ready to pounce. Choi stands firm, shield raised, preparing to launch another fiery projectile. His fire spear cuts through the air, a blazing streak aimed true. A massive explosion engulfs the beast head as Choi thinks, "I think I got this." He grins, surrounded by lingering embers, feeling a surge of confidence. Suddenly, a notification sound chimes and Choi's confident expression vanishes. He stares at his status window, bewildered, as the beast, though damaged, still stands. His mana is critically low at 4%, though his health remains full. Choi steels himself. "I can win this if I can survive until my mana recovers." But his resolve shatters as he cries out, his sword broken beside him on the ground. A sudden boom echoes, startling a nearby party, their faces etched with alarm. Armored feet rush forward as a voice shouts, "Hurry up, hurry up." A new, well-equipped team of hunters arrives on the scene, observing the area. They cautiously approach the site of a brutal struggle, littered with fallen combatants. One of the earlier individuals gasps in shock. They didn't even stand a chance. The caped hunter kneels, pointing out, "There's a footprint here, near a patch of blood." Enormous, deep footprints confirm their fears as he states, "This thing is nitrogen monoxide joke." A female hunter nervously asks her companions, "You think we should go?" Her worried expression intensifies, sweat beating as she considers the danger. One hunter demands action, "So we just stand here and do nothing." But another notes the silence from the portal guards. One hunter scoffs, doubting their odds against such a foe. An armored foot takes a decisive step forward. A determined hunter suggests searching, but another retorts, "Then you go alone." The group stands divided, hesitation clear among three of them. The caped hunter states he won't die needlessly during his mandatory time. The determined hunter exclaims, "What about the others in this dungeon?" The caped hunter callously replies, "Like I care." His teammates are shocked by his selfish declaration, one asking if he's serious. The caped hunter challenges them for a better idea as the female hunter urges calm. Another hunter tries to placate the determined one, saying now isn't the time to argue. Choi's eye narrows, a bead of sweat tracing his temple as the tension mounts. A monstrous foot slams down with a heavy stomp, shaking the ground. The beast, though wounded, lets out a furious GRAWR, its remaining power evident. Gory stumps gurgle ominously as Choi mutters, "What are you?" "A hydra." He realizes, "I need to finish it off before the heads regenerate," his cloak sweeping. Golden energy flickers around his gloved hand, gathering for a final, desperate strike. Choi gulps, a grim smile playing on his lips. "If I miss this shot, I'm dead meat." His gaze intensifies, focused and unwavering amidst swirling embers. The beast remaining head snarls, its red eyes burning with primal fury. True to his fear, the severed neck gurgles as a new head begins to form. Choi stands defiantly before the towering beast, his golden spear gleaming with power. His broken sword clatters to the ground as he realizes time is running out. He channels all his remaining energy into the spear, its golden light intensifying. With a determined glint in his eye, Choi knows this is his final chance. He braces himself, spear and shield ready, acknowledging the sheer recklessness of his plan. Taking a deep breath, Choi prepares for his desperate all-or-nothing attack. The beast flinches, its crimson eyes burning with undiminished rage. Choi lunges forward, a blur of motion, spear aimed at his monstrous foe. As Choi attacks, the beast simultaneously leaps, its regenerating neck a grim reminder. The beast furious, red-eye glares, its fangs bared for a deadly counter. Choi soars, golden spear thrusting upwards at the colossal beast. He arcs gracefully, a streak of light as the beast tracks his movement. Choi clicks his tongue, annoyed, embers swirling around his focused face. A monstrous paw descends, aiming to crush him mid-flight. With a swift aerial maneuver, Choi narrowly evades the crushing blow. The beast attack shatters the ground, missing Choi by a hair's breadth. As the beast roars in fury, Choi lands, startled by its ferocity. The monster lunges, its gaping maw and razor fangs filling Choi's vision. Choi grunts in pain, his vision blurring as dizziness overtakes him. He stumbles into a crater, barely upright as the beast foot taps down nearby. A golden streak slashes through the air, aimed true. The beast roars, its massive, fang maw wide in fury. Choi lands, breathing a sigh of relief, spear still glowing. A fresh, sizzling gash appears across the monster's snout. He stands dwarfed, a tiny figure before the colossal beast. Its enormous paw crashes down, shaking the very earth. Choi's eyes narrow, a spark of surprise in his determined gaze. He glances upward, cape swirling, anticipating the next move. With a swift motion, Choi unleashes another golden slash at its leg. The monster bellows in agony, its red eyes burning with rage. Choi glances back, a flicker of surprise in his eyes. The beast crashes down as Choi nimbly leaps away from the impact. He lands on its back, plunging his spear deep as the monster roars. Choi soars, spear raised high, channeling a powerful golden energy. With a mighty thrust, he drives the glowing spear into the beast's head. The gash on its snout burns fiercely, embers scattering from the wound. Choi unleashes a final, explosive burst of golden power through his spear. He breathes a sigh of relief, a weary smile touching his lips. I guess that's it. But a colossal, bloody paw suddenly looms over him from behind. Damn it, Choi spins, shield raised, spear flaring, ready for another round. The beast's paw slams down, shattering the ground as Choi narrowly dodges. Choi grunts, his eyes wide with alarm at the relentless assault. He watches in horror as the beast's other heads begin to heal, fangs bared. Choi stands his ground, spear glowing, before the now multi-headed monstrosity. Talk about persistence, he mutters, steeling his resolve. Golden energy crackles around his fist. This is his absolute last shot. Choi holds his spear, its golden light cutting through the dim surroundings. With a determined gaze, he leaps, thrusting his spear upwards with all his might. He plunges the spear deep into the beast's underbelly. Choi, perched precariously, faces another massive paw descending upon him. Choi clenches his fist, a golden streak severing the beast's descending paw. He leaps again, unleashing another arcing golden slash at the monster. Choi's expression is grim, his focus absolute on this relentless foe. A spear of pure golden energy hurtles towards the beast. The energy erupts in a massive explosion against the monster's form. Choi lands as a severed limb of the beast thuds heavily to the ground. As the limb settles, a system notification suddenly appears before him. His hand begins to fizzle, particles flaking away as if disintegrating. Choi lets out a breath of relief, sweat beading on his brow. The colossal beast finally lies still, steam rising from its defeated form. Choi stares intently as a blue system window materializes before him. The notification reveals an unbelievable achievement for slaying the unique monster Gredon. A bead of sweat rolls down his cheek as he processes. So I was fighting a unique monster all by myself. More system windows pop up, displaying further achievements. His eyes widen slightly, a first-timer title. He wonders. Another rare class achievement, the first level Defier for beating a foe 100 levels higher. He stands amidst the glowing blue interfaces, taking it all in. Choi muses to titles, a small reward for such a risky feat like. His thought is cut short as a sound draws his sharp gaze. The colossal beast's body begins to dissipate into shimmering particles of light. Choi exclaims in surprise as an ornate book materializes before him. A close-up reveals the intricate design of the mysterious, glowing tome. He cautiously steps forward, his gaze fixed on the unexpected reward. Choi reaches out, his gloved hand decisively grabbing the ancient-looking book. A system window reveals its identity. Tome of Immortality, unique rare class. He gulps, processing the first incredible passive and vulnerability unless beheaded. Standing atop a mound of skulls, he contemplates the slow healing of his wounds. His eyes gleam with understanding, near immortality as long as his head is intact. He reflects, realizing he's never encountered such a unique rare class or upgradable skill. Swiping through a mental list, he confirms this item is unheard of, even in the markets. Choi smirks, I bet the tankers will go completely gaga for this. He takes a determined step forward, considering his newfound treasure. He grips the tome, realizing its rarity rivals heroic and legendary skills. Most importantly, he thinks, securing the book in his satchel. Choi stands tall, the unique tome clutched firmly. It's unique. His eyes widen with the realization, there's only one in the entire world. The ornate cover of the Tome of Immortality gleams with untold power. A glint of decision shines in Choi's focused eye. A system prompt appears, acquire the passive skill book, Tome of Immortality, unique rare class. Without hesitation, his finger taps yes on the glowing interface. The Tome of Immortality dissolves into blue light, flowing into Choi's hand. His system window updates, adding the passive skill as he exclaims, my wounds are actually healing. A close-up reveals his previously damaged palm, now rapidly mending. Sweat drips from his brow as he feels the regeneration effect. He muses, I guess I can heal by using up stamina. Choi clenches his fist, thinking, that's fine by me. I got plenty of it anyway. He then turns his attention to the system interface. Let's check out the new titles, shall we? A blue window displays the first level Defier, normal class grinding +5 on all stats. Sweet, he grins, realizing, if this is a normal class achievement reward, that means I get another reward for a rare class achievement. Choi looks over his shoulder with a determined glint, anticipating the next reveal. Choi eagerly swipes his hand, then, what about this? His next title is revealed. The Lone Slayer of Gredon, rare class, +3 stamina, not bad. He chuckles, thanks, Gredon. You were one cool cat, system windows still glowing. With his rewards claimed, Choi turns, okay, then, it's time to go home. A tiny figure in the vastness. Suddenly, a giant armored foot slams down. the visual stomp emphasizing impact as Choi burst into a sprint. For imposing figures in armor charge forward, the large text DA done heralding their ominous approach. A close-up on their gear confirms their identity. Player Association Emergency Unit. One operative shouts, spotting him amidst the desolation. Players found. A massive sword blade slams into the ground before him, a clear visual command, halt. A determined woman from the unit steps forward. We're from the Player Association. Other players nearby look startled, one asking, what's going on? The heavily armed Player Association unit faces a small group of less equipped players. Shin Yuna, the emergency unit leader, states, we think a higher level monster has spawned in the Red Mane Wolf dungeon. Yuna, her armor clicking, firmly advises, we strongly suggest that you all leave this dungeon right now. The other players look terrified as Yuna reveals, more than a dozen players have already been killed. A female player with the ponytail gasps in disbelief. Is that true? Yuna confirms with a somber expression, unfortunately, yes. A close-up shows a unit member's armored foot, a blue aura emanating as they scan the ground. The scout reports, not yet. I only sense red mane wolves. Yuna sighs in frustration, while Choi, hidden, sweats nervously nearby. An association member spots a lone figure, shouting, player found. Yuna quickly turns, demanding, which direction? How many? But hesitates. Her eyes narrow as the scout confirms, there's only one. Choi, cloaked and confident, glances back with a subtle smirk. Suddenly, his feet blur, indicating a swift, decisive movement. His expression is sharp, a glint of resolve in his eyes he acts. Yuna whips her head around, a surprised huh, escaping her lips. The scout who found Choi senses danger. Something's heading toward me. A powerful gust sweeps through as Choi stands defiantly in the open. He turns sharply, his senses on high alert for the approaching presence. Choi's eye focuses, his mind racing. Who are these people? An armored fist clenches near a sturdy boot, their halt command still hanging in the air. The imposing unit stands united, a formidable sight before him. Choi swallows hard, his dark cloak doing little to hide his tension. He sizes them up quickly, realizing they're high-level players. His attention snags on their gleaming weaponry. Look at all that fancy gear. Subtle blue energy pulses from the intricate design of an operative's chest plate. The female leader, Yuna, steps forward, her gaze sharp. Are you okay? Choi attempts a casual demeanor. Yeah, I'm fine. Yuna scrutinizes his worn appearance. You're a mess, then presses, did you meet that thing? Choi's eyes widen slightly at her question. He nervously asks, that thing sweat beating on his temple. Yuna clarifies, an extremely high-level monster not meant for this dungeon. Choi gulps, internally admitting, yeah, and I took it down. His mind races, is the association aware of Gredon? Choi hesitates for a moment, considering his response. He finally answers Yuna with a simple, yes, I did. Yuna immediately rushes closer, demanding, where is it? Is it around here? Her armored boot steps firmly towards his worn shoes. Yuna stops short, her eyes widening in surprise as she gets a better look at him. Yuna apologizes, sorry, I didn't mean to startle you, as Choi looks confused. She gently takes his hand, that was rude of me. You must be confused. Yuna offers him a potion, take this. It will help your wounds heal. Choi's eyes widen in shock, oh, this is an expensive potion. A system window confirms low-grade healing potion, rare class. Yuna smiles reassuringly. It will help your hand heal. A faint shimmer as the potion's magic takes effect on Choi's hand. Choi hesitates, potion vial in hand. He looks serious, there's something you should know. It's about the monster. Yuna leans in, intrigued. Yes. What is it? Choi reveals the monster, a giant, three-headed panther with a black coat. Yuna listens intently, admitting, I've never heard of a monster like that. Her unit members behind her exchange looks of shock and confusion. One scout appears bewildered, while a more stoic, armored member observes. Choi continues his startling account. It was as big as a house, as Yuna's eyes widen. He then raises a gloved finger, preparing to indicate its path. And it went that way, Choi declares, pointing decisively into the dungeon. Yuna offers a sincere thank you very much, her expression softening with gratitude. In an instant, the unit blazes past, leaving Choi to exclaim, oh, that was pretty fast. Choi stands alone, slightly windswept, watching the spot where they vanish. Choi reflects, I'm glad I took it down, as he stands in the dim dungeon. He walks, thinking, if I hadn't, more newbies would have been killed. A smirk plays on his lips, besides, the reward was pretty sick too. Choi stretches, yawning, good luck finding Gredon, people, because it's already gone. Elsewhere, an armored boot taps the ground as the unit halts. Yuna and her team face a glowing pink portal, marking the dungeon's end. A squad member speculates, maybe it went back through the portal gate. Yuna considers this grimly, It's possible, but that will cause serious problems. Her expression darkens. It's got a taste of blood. Her sharp boots click as she adds, we don't know when it might come out and attack people again. Yuna announces, we're reporting this to the association first, as a subordinate readily agrees. She turns sharply, a sudden movement indicating a change of thought. Yuna pauses, a thoughtful expression crossing her face. One of her squad members notices her hesitation. Captain. Another teammate wonders aloud about Choi. Do you think that guy made it out safely? He seemed to have lost his party. Meanwhile, Choi hums contentedly, examining a small, glowing reward from his victory. Yuna resolves, I should go find him while I still can. Her armored heels click as she instructs, you guys wait here. Her team members exchange surprised glances at her sudden decision. The younger squad mate asks with concern, where are you going? Yuna announces, I'm going to check on that player we met earlier, her back to her team. A skeptical, hooded teammate replies, I'm sure he'll be fine. Yuna's profile shows her concern, but he was all alone. She turns slightly, a gentle smile on her face. It could be dangerous. Her armored leg and spear are shown as she readies herself to depart. The previously skeptical teammate now looks flustered. Oh, why, you're right. Yuna thanks her squad, who affirm, we'll wait here, Captain. Her armored boot takes a decisive step forward. With a whoosh, Yuna disappears into the dungeon's depths. The scene shifts to a dimly lit, empty corridor marked by flickering torches. Yuna stands determined, spear ready, venturing back into the dungeon. She strides purposefully through the desolate, torchlit cavern. Puzzled, Yuna scans the empty passage, appearing above her. Her armored heels pause near a faint, glowing blue light on the dungeon floor. Yuna faces the shimmering blue aura, realizing it's an exit. She sighs, he's gone, looking at the spot where Choi likely left. A bead of sweat on her concerned face, Yuna murmurs, I hope he got out safe. The scene shifts to towering apartment buildings under a bright, sunny sky. Choi examines his perfectly healed hand, exclaiming, the skill is way better than I thought. Now in casual attire, Choi remarks, it's super slow, but it works well with other healing skills. Back home, Choi dramatically flops onto his couch. He sighs contentedly, I'm tired, a relieved smile on his face. Suddenly, a beat from the door startles him, his eyes snapping open. His mother enters, surprised. You're home early today. She then gasps, noticing his appearance, honey, what happened to your face? Choi winces internally, thinking, oops, a bead of sweat forming. He recalls spending a fortune on a fire spear skill book, thinking, I used up a lot of points. Choi laughs it off. It's nothing, Mom. I had a long day. That's all. Changing the subject, he asks, say, I'm hungry. Do we have anything to eat? As his mom observes him, his mother questions, you didn't have lunch yet, as Choi looks slightly guilty. His mom heads to the kitchen, promising, wait a minute, I'll have something cooked up in a jiffy. Choi sighs, thinking, dang, I should be more careful about this. His eyes narrow with resolve. I can't let something like this happen again. As his phone suddenly rings, Mom answers her phone in the kitchen. Hey, hon. What is it? Are you still working? Then adds, Hyun-Seong. He's at home. Choi glances back, a question mark appearing as he overhears his name. His mother whirls around, shocked by the news. An accident. Are you serious? Her eyes widen in horror as she exclaims into the phone, people got killed. Choi listens, stunned and sweating, a quiet "oh" escaping his lips. A news report flashes. Accident kills dozens in a dungeon, listing Choi Hyun-Seong among the deceased, making him realize how they're counting casualties. As Choi sits somberly on the couch, his mom ends her call. Okay, I'll see you later at home. His mother looks at him, her expression filled with worry. She remarks, so that's why you came back early today. Choi laughs nervously. Don't worry, Mom, I didn't even see the dangerous part. He sweats as she continues, your job is too dangerous. She sits beside him. I feel terrible you're risking your life. But Choi insists. I love my new job. He smiles. I like our life now, and I enjoy getting stronger hunting monsters. The scene shifts to a sign. Redmane Wolf Dungeon closed temporarily. Plastered with danger, do not enter tape. Officials and cloaked figures now gather outside the sealed dungeon entrance. An investigator steps forward, stating, the safety guards died here. They never stood a chance. A gloved hand reaches towards the dark opening. I see traces of the monster entering this dungeon. Monster tracing expert Kim Dong-soo states, but I don't see any traces of it leaving this place. Yuna questions, does that mean it's still inside here? We've searched every corner. Other officials look on with uncertainty, one muttering, well. Dong-soo concedes, it's hard to say. I'll look for any traces that I can find. An armored boot, likely Yuna's, takes a determined step forward. Yuna firmly agrees, understood. I'll join you. Dong-soo and Yuna proceed together into the dungeon's depths. He smiles. I appreciate your escort, Yuna. I sure feel safer. Yuna responds seriously. I'm only doing my job. Dongsu's gloved hand reaches towards mysterious blue glowing particles on the ground. Dongsu explains the monster targeted low-level players hunting in this area. He then indicates the creature moved towards their current position. Dongsu's eyes glow intensely as he senses something amiss, puzzling Yuna. He reveals the monster attacked a player, who remarkably fought back and escaped. Dongsu suddenly dashes forward, following the newly discovered trail. Panning, he deduces the player kept fighting even while retreating. Dongsu senses a shield stun skill was used, indicating a desperate defense. Yuna looks on, surprised, as Dongsu concludes the player fought completely alone. Near a torch, Dongsu detects the lingering traces of a flame-type spell. Both investigators now race deeper into the dungeon, following these new clues. Dongsu deduces whoever this was must have been pretty agile as well, suspecting a magic swordsman. Yuna listens intently, her expression stern and focused on Dongsu's analysis. They stand before massive paw prints, dwarfed by the sheer scale of the beast tracks. Dongsu rubs his gloved fingers together, examining a trace element he's collected. He tastes the residue, declaring, the monster was critically injured right here. Yuna's eyes narrow as Dongsu adds, it lost a lot of blood. She internally questions, critically injured, her disbelief evident. Yuna recalls, but none of the safety guards stood a chance, highlighting the player's incredible feat. Dongsu reconsiders, at first, I thought this player was a magic swordsman. As Yuna looks on quizzically, he then theorizes, but I think he or she could just be a magician with high agility. A fiery explosion erupts, the kaboom sound effect emphasizing its force. Dongsu, sweating slightly, notes the spell that this person cast was quite powerful. Their feet stop at a point, Yuna's spear tip resting on the dungeon floor. Dongsu glances upwards, his expression thoughtful in the dim light. He turns to Yuna, declaring, and the fight ended here. Yuna looks surprised, questioning, it ended here. Dongsu confirms, yes, I thought this player was a mage, still looking around. His eyes glow blue again as he muses, but perhaps I was wrong again. A vision shows the player slashing at the monster's massive paw. This person fought at close range here. The vision continues, then a magic skill was used to finish off the three-headed panther. With another kaboom, Dongsu confidently declares, this player must be a magic swordsman. I'm sure of it. He adds, since there are no remains left, I'm guessing it turned into a magic stone or an item. Yuna exclaims, that's impossible, thinking how most magic swordsmen are mediocre. A vision shows powerful, rare magic swordsmen, one wielding fire, another lightning. Yuna realizes this mystery player fought an overpowered monster not meant for this dungeon. Her eyes narrow, focusing on the most critical, unbelievable part of this puzzle. Dongsu reveals, I was told that the player with the highest level in this dungeon was level 24. Noting the mismatch, a bloodied safety guard ID lies on the ground. It wasn't any of them. The two safety guards at the portal gate were instantly killed by the monster. Another official interjects, calm down, both of you. As Dongsu and Yuna seem to debate, an official tries to de-escalate, reminding them they waited for the emergency unit due to a fight. Yuna thoughtfully considers, everyone other than the guards were just normal players. Another official speculates, maybe that player's registration card wasn't renewed yet. Yuna counters, stating the mandatory renewal period is a full 2 years. The official looks puzzled, admitting, it still doesn't add up though. Yuna deduces it's impossible to level up like that before renewal. This player's level has to be close to 60. She sighs, adding, and none of the players who entered the dungeon that day received support from their guilds. The official, adjusting his glove, concedes, I agree. It is odd. He continues, hand near his pocket, even if an abnormally strong player did kill the monster. Why hunt below their level? Yuna's ornate, armored boot rest firmly on the dungeon floor. Yuna presses Dongsu. Can you track down this player any further? The monster tracing expert hesitates, sweating. Well, Determined, Dongsu pulls on his glove, declaring, I will try. His eyes flare blue as energy emanates from his gloved hand, activating his skill. Kneeling, Dongsu reports the traces of the player disappeared right after the battle. He admits, I don't think I can track the player any further. This dungeon's terrain is unhelpful. Yuna questions him, surprised, but didn't you trace the entire battle? Dongsu clarifies, well, that's because heavy monsters leave obvious traces just by moving. He remains kneeling while Yuna stands, the trail now cold. Dongsu gestures to a massive paw print, asking, you see the footprint here? Dongsu explains it's hard to track lighter subjects such as players, as they leave few traces. He scratches his cheek, adding, and there are no traces of skills after the combat was over. Dong-Soo laments, had this player used a skill, I'd be able to track the person's residual magic. Wiping sweat from his brow, Dong-Soo seems to accept his limits. Yuna looks downcast, admitting, I think I asked for too much. She bows slightly, apologizing to Dong-Soo for the difficult request. Dong-Soo bows deeply in return, saying, no, not at all. I'm sorry I couldn't help. Yuna straightens up, suggesting, let's head back up, shall we? Dong-Soo, still a bit flustered, quickly agrees, sure. A sign declares the Red Mane Wolf dungeon closed temporarily, wrapped in danger tape. Back outside, Yuna briefs officials and a heavily armored knight. The scene shifts to the imposing Player Association headquarters at night. Inside, Yuna resolves, I need to take a closer look at the players who entered the dungeon on that day. Her title, Korea Player Association Head Inspector Shin Yuna, appears as she marvels at the players' pre-second year strength. Determined, Yuna declares if there is such a player, we need to recruit whoever that is. We can't keep losing skilled players to the guilds anymore. A graphic illustrates the Player Association is government-managed, unlike private guilds. Prominent guild logos dominate a cityscape. As it's explained, the Player Association once held significant power. A vision of an early association player stands proudly before its emblem, representing past glory. Indeed, most skilled players were initially affiliated with the association, but its influence waned over time. Ornate emblems appear, symbolizing the shifting allegiances and power structures. Corporate-owned guilds, boasting powerful players, began their ascent. The association's leadership at the time was largely composed of ex-politicians. These executives, unfamiliar with dungeons or players, indulged in corruption. Their focus seemed more on personal gain than player welfare. They exploited players with low pay, cloaking it in calls for patriotism. In stark contrast, guilds began offering substantial rewards to entice players. One player is shown receiving an enormous sum, highlighting the guild's financial power. Facing a crisis, the association revamped, firing its politically connected executives. A new era began, with experienced former players taking charge of the executive board. Now, the reformed association offers competitive packages, striving to recruit new talent. As a result, the association's once tarnished image is slowly recovering. The organization, led by new figures, is steadily getting back on track. However, quality-wise, the top-tier guilds still hold a distinct advantage. Yuna reviews the player list, believing one has top-tier potential. Her blue eyes narrow with unwavering resolve. I need to find this person, she declares, focusing on a specific player entry. The scene shifts to a view of two modern apartment buildings under a bright sky. Inside, packed luggage sits on a bed. A voice musing about wrapping up at the Red Mane Wolf dungeon. A young man sits on the bed, phone in hand, having cleared all nearby dungeons. His phone displays a list, revealing Red Mane Wolf dungeons are located all across the country. The young man arrives at the bustling Dejian terminal complex. Dragging his suitcase, he mulls over his next move. He wonders aloud, how do I upgrade this skill though? As a blue skill icon hovers, his Tome of Immortality skill can be upgraded, but online searches yield no answers. He considers just using it more, then remembers it's a passive skill. He grimaces, deciding he's definitely not going to injure himself just to find out. Later, he checks into the Black Hotel as evening approaches. Lying in bed, he schemes. What would be a good way to trick everyone how many magic stones I'm getting? He can't trust those association bozos at the dungeon entrances, he thinks. Now in a suit, he ponders deceiving them, then pauses, noticing something or someone. He scoffs internally. They claim security checks prevent monster egg infestations. But he knows the real goal is to stop players from evading taxes on their earnings. A sharply dressed woman appears, smirking, "It's nice to see you again," then casually insults the association's methods. He's visibly shocked, wondering, how did she find me? Suspecting a powerful cartel is tracking him, she introduces herself and her colleague. I'm working as the lead recruiter in Seo Woo Guild's first headhunting team. Later, back in his hotel room, a data-filled screen glows on the wooden wall. Sitting on the floor, he exclaims with renewed determination, there's gotta be a way to fool them somehow. As a blue interface appears, he focuses intently, manipulating the glowing blue holographic projection at his feet. I think I saw something on the market before, he murmurs, swiping through a digital interface. Suddenly, his eyes widen with a jolt of realization, a bead of sweat trickling down his temple. He exclaims, spotting a virtual space skill book on the market interface. The price tag is a staggering 699,999,999 points. He gulps, acknowledging the insane cost but recognizing its immense utility. A confirmation window pops up, asking if he wants to buy the rare class skill book. His finger decisively taps the yes button on the glowing screen. A physical, ornate skill book materializes in his outstretched hand. Another notification appears, asking to confirm acquiring the virtual space skill. He smirks, thinking it's an obvious choice as a radiant aura envelops him. His hand flexes, perhaps feeling the new power coursing through him. Standing in his room, he clenches his fist, ready to utilize his new acquisition. He stretches his arm, preparing to test his newly acquired skill. Virtual space, he declares, as purple energy swirls around his open palm. A satisfied smirk plays on his lips. The skill activation is a success. His eyes narrow in thought, contemplating the possibilities of this new power. Peering into the dimensional void, he notes, it's quite spacious than I thought. He gauges its size, comparing it to his old studio apartment. Okay, he murmurs, seemingly closing or manipulating the virtual space. With a confident grin, he announces, now let's go hunt some wolves, as the energy vanishes. Night falls, and a glowing blue dungeon portal illuminates a city street. Holding his player registration card, he confidently states, I think I'll be fine. He arrives at the dungeon entrance, face concealed, observing the scene. His eyes scan the area, taking in the other players. He internally scoffs, thinking he's not the shady one here despite his disguise. Spotting an eccentric player, he muses that many players are indeed weirdos. He approaches the association's staff member to present his registration card. The staff member scans his card, a beep confirming the check-in. As he reaches for his card, he hesitates, sensing something amiss. The staff member suddenly asks, are you Choi Hyun-Seong? Catching him off guard. Inside the dungeon, he draws his weapon, ready for the hunt. With a swift slash, he takes down multiple red mane wolves. A notification pings as he stands cloaked in the dark dungeon. He's earned a rare class achievement, Red Mane Wolf Devourer, for hunting 1,000 higher-level monsters alone. He smirks, pulling down his scarf. That went smoothly. He recalls the staff member needing a fingerprint scan, which he easily provided. Chuckling, he remembers getting into the dungeon without any further hassle. He then activates his virtual space, a purple void swirling into existence. Gleaming blue magic stones, loot from the wolves, litter the dungeon floor. The virtual space effortlessly begins to suck up the scattered magic stones. Oops, I forgot, he exclaims, picking up one of the larger stones by hand. He decides to put a few stones in his bag as a decoy, lest the association suspects. Meanwhile, in a brightly lit office building under the night sky, a man in a suit questions, Ma Ji-hoon is after some rookie? Another man scratches his head, explaining, yes, sir. He's hidden his info so well. It was hard to find. Seo Dae-woong, captain of Seo Woo Guild's second support team, adds, but I feel we need to recruit this player before he does. The first man, Young Sung-woo, lets out a subtle, intrigued smirk. Tell me more. Young Sung-woo, vice guild master of Seo Woo Guild, leans back. I'm all ears. Seo Dae-woong stands before a large screen, presenting details to his superior. He gestures, elaborating on the rookie's impressive, yet hidden, accomplishments. Young Sung-woo taps his fingers on the desk, lost in thought. He then smiles, impressed. He entered a dungeon for level 15 to 20 players, just 2 months after awakening, and alone. Young Sung-woo's eyes narrow. This Choi Hyun-Seong guy seems to override the 20-level rule, Seo Dae-woong explains, showing Hyun-Seong's prowess. The vice guild master looks genuinely surprised by this revelation. Seriously? Young Sung-woo questions, while Dae-woong admits we're not sure yet. Highly likely, sir. Dae-woong affirms before Sung-woo asks about Ji-hoon's recruitment status. Sung-woo smirks slightly as Dae-woong confirms, yes, I think the deal hasn't been settled. Dae-woong then stammers, he's asking for a huge down payment. Intrigued, Young Sung-woo leans back. How much did he ask for? Standing before the large screen, Dae-woong drops the bombshell. He's asking for 100 billion. Young Sung-woo jolts forward, exclaiming, he's nuts. 100 billion for an unknown rookie. Dae-woong chuckles, I know, right? That's enough for a field-ready high-level player. Young Sung-woo's eyes narrow. But if what you say is true, a confident grin spreads across Sung-woo's face. Money isn't a problem, to be honest. Dae-woong agrees. You're right, sir. The real problem isn't money. He reveals Hyun-Seong demands payment asterisk before asterisk, showing his status, as briefcases of cash appear. While Ma Ji-hoon wants to see his status window first before signing him, Dae-woong adds, showing a blurred status. Dae-woong sighs, TSK, he's still the indecisive idiot, while Sung-woo notes, yeah, people don't change. Sung-woo's grin widens, a calculating look in his eyes. Dae-woong explains, that's why we failed to recruit skilled newbies like Kim Hannah. And he's repeating the same mistake. Sung-woo whirls a pen, but while he may be unfit to lead, I do think he's quite the beast inside dungeons. Sung-woo explains if his status is faulty, we'll just find a reason to reclaim the money. A document rustles, detailing their strategic approach. Why don't you offer him the money upfront and see if he signs? Sung-woo suggests with a grin. Dae-woong stares, shocked. So we're really going to pay him 100 billion. We can get it back if we state the terms clearly, Sung-woo reassures, handing over the contract. Dae-woong exits, the office door clacking shut, leaving Sung-woo to his thoughts. A sly smirk plays on Sung-woo's lips, pleased with his cunning plan. If this succeeds, he muses, I might just become the next guildmaster. Elsewhere, Hyun-Seong's eyes widen above his scarf, utterly speechless. He stands before Dae-woong, who rummages in a bag, likely preparing the massive down payment. Dae-woong presents the bag of decoy magic stones. You're all set. Hyun-Seong thanks him, while Dae-woong lets out a tired yawn. Sweet, Hyun-Seong thinks, fist clenched. Now I'm free from Seo-woo Guild's watch. A few days later, the dungeon floor is again littered with magic stones. He's finally done. A new notification pops up. Unbelievable achievement. Legendary class. For hunting 10,000 higher-level monsters. Time to sort the loot. He muses, his virtual space swirling to collect the stones. He pulls a familiar blue skill book from his inventory, HMM. I already have this, he declares, casually tossing the duplicate book into his void. He then examines another book, this one with intricate green and gold designs next. His eyes widen in sheer surprise as he focuses on the new, promising tome. Ho, he exclaims, seeing the Wind of Recovery skill book finally. A prompt asks to acquire the popular passive skill, a coveted item for many. His gloved finger decisively taps yes on the glowing interface. I was wondering when I'd see this, he muses, a satisfied smirk on his face. But as the skill book floats before him, he lets out a confused huh. A new notification shocks him. You have failed to acquire the passive skill book. What? Hyun-Seong stares in disbelief, green particles swirling around him. The camera zooms in on his disheveled hair, highlighting his utter shock. I failed to acquire this skill, he questions, staring at the lingering notification. His eyes widen in disbelief. I've never even heard of anything like this. A new notification reveals his Tome of Immortality absorbed the skill book and upgraded. Hyun-Seong stares, utterly baffled. What happened? As the notifications linger, he waves his hand through the interface, muttering, but nothing's changed. The Tome of Immortality description details its powerful, upgradable life-saving effects. Hyun-Seong recalls the system message, and it said that the Tome of Immortality upgraded. He then remembers the Wind of Recovery skill simply speeds up wound healing. A thought strikes him. Maybe it was absorbed because it increases recovery speed. Still puzzled, he wonders aloud, I still don't get it, so what did change? Suddenly, a glowing red gash appears on his side, a fresh wound. To test his theory, Hyun-Seong deliberately pricks his finger with his dagger. A single drop of blood wells from the fresh cut on his finger. Hyun-Seong watches his injured finger intently, observing any changes. The small cut on his finger vanishes almost instantly, healing with a faint sizzle. I can't tell the difference, he mutters, questioning how many skills the tome needs to truly upgrade. A bead of sweat trickles down his face as he considers the implications. He laments that was a 30 million won skill book, thinking of its immense value. What a waste, he groans, clearly frustrated by the seemingly minor change. Snow gently falls outside, marking a shift as Hyun-Seong leaves the dungeon. He walks along a quiet, snow-dusted street, lost in thought. Hyun-Seong pulls out his phone, the screen displaying Ocean Galactic. Hyun-Seong walks down a quiet street, still focused on his phone displaying Ocean Galactic. Suddenly, his phone vibrates with an incoming call, marked by a BZZT. He glances at the screen, seeing an unknown number, and mutters, is it a spam call? Cautiously, Hyun-Seong brings the phone to his ear, answering, hello? A voice on the line asks, hello, Mr. Choi Hyun-Seong, causing him to pause with a questioning look. Pulling his scarf down slightly, Hyun-Seong's visible eye narrows as he asks, who is it? The caller, Seo Dae-woong, cheerfully introduces himself as the captain of Seo-woo Guild's second support team. Hyun-Seong's expression immediately sours, an angry tick mark appearing on his forehead. He snaps into the phone, I told you not to call me unless you're willing to accept my conditions. Dae-woong, holding a mug, calmly asks, are you talking about the 100 billion won down payment? Confirming, that's right. Dae-woong casually states, we'll accept your conditions, proposing an in-person contract discussion. Hyun-Seong, utterly stunned, stammers, are you serious, as Dae-woong confirms their intent. Dae-woong emphasizes the massive sum involved, his hand resting on documents. We're dead serious about this deal. A confident smirk plays on Dae-woong's lips as he continues the call from his office. Hyun-Seong stands speechless on the snowy street, the unexpected news sinking in. A bead of sweat forms as Hyun-Seong, flustered, struggles to compose a response. He quickly makes an excuse, I'm still hunting, and requests a copy of the contract instead. Dae-woong readily agrees. I'll have it sent to you right away while Hyun-Seong looks on. Still processing. Oh okay, Hyun-Seong manages. I'll take a look and let you know. The call ends, leaving Hyun-Seong to contemplate Seo-woo Guild's surprising offer. Hyun-Seong, still on the street, exclaims Ho, looking at his phone. His eye widens slightly, processing the unexpected development. A message from Seo Dae-woong confirms the contract has been sent via text and email. Damn, there goes my free time, Hyun-Seong sighs, realizing the task ahead. Night falls as Hyun-Seong arrives at Lee Yeonchul, legal consultant. Inside, Lee Yeonchul reviews the contract on his phone, noting, this is a pretty good contract. The benefits are nice as well. The legal consultant's eyes narrow, scrutinizing the document's finer points. However, Yeonchul warns Hyun-Seong, some clauses could work against you if they have ill intentions. Hyun-Seong, now seated in the office, leans forward. Which clauses? Could you share the details? A printer sits ready, hinting at the lengthy contract and detailed review to come. Yeonchul, holding the contract, tells Hyun-Seong, you should take a closer look at the section. He points to a clause. The guild can nullify the contract if a member damages their public image. Hyun-Seong listens intently. As Yeonchul explains, this decision rests on the guild executive's subjective judgment, calling it unfair. The legal consultant continues to scrutinize the document, his expression serious. Yeonchul reveals another unfair clause. The contract is void if the member's skills or morals don't meet guild standards. He then warns about a massive penalty fee for contract termination, regardless of the down payment. Hyun-Seong looks visibly shocked by this revelation, a small exclamation mark appearing. Yeonchul elaborates, if terminated due to Hyun-Seong's fault, he must pay back 10 times the down payment. Hyun-Seong grits his teeth in fury, eyes blazing, thinking, what a bunch of assholes. Yeonchul calmly advises, in my opinion, you may proceed with this contract after it has been revised. Hyun-Seong decides, tell them to remove the unfair clauses. As his phone buzzes with a call from Seo-woo Guild Choi Hyun-Seong, he glances at the incoming call, a surprised expression on his face. The screen clearly displays the caller, Seo-woo Guild Choi Hyun-Seong. A determined smile forms as Hyun-Seong thinks, yeah, I think I should make that clear. I need to take this call, Hyun-Seong tells Yeonchul, stepping out of the office. Night deepens around Lee Yeonchul's legal consultant building. Hyun-Seong steps onto the rooftop answering, as Choi Hyun-Seong greets him and brings up the down payment. Choi Hyun-Seong then asks, will you be interested in adjusting the amount to 50 billion? Hyun-Seong listens, a subtle, calculating smile playing on his lips. Leaning on the railing, Hyun-Seong considers the new offer, his expression thoughtful. Choi Hyun-Seong on the phone acknowledges the amount I asked for was specifically 100 billion. What you're offering me is only half of that. He then pushes, but let's be a little more realistic here. Choi Hyun-Seong argues that even for a major guild like Seo-woo, Hyun-Seong's asking price is too high. Hyun-Seong lets out a small scoff, a smirk playing on his lips as he listens. Honestly, Choi Hyun-Seong continues, trying to sound reasonable. He claims, we had a tough time persuading the executive board to pay you 50 billion. Hyun-Seong chuckles, is that so? Then I'll think about it. Surprised, Choi Hyun-Seong asks, huh really? As Hyun-Seong adds, yes, but before I do, can I take a look at the contract? Choi Hyun-Seong's fingers tap on his keyboard, preparing to send the document. Hyun-Seong, ending the call with a beep, confidently holds his phone, having agreed to review their terms. Hyun-Seong returns to the law office of Y. Lee. Back inside, Hyun-Seong checks his phone, a slight smile on his face. His phone displays the new contract terms, down payment 50 billion won. Yeonchul at his desk asks, did things go well with the guild? Yes, I think so, Hyun-Seong replies, holding out his phone. Could you take a look at this too? Yeonchul remarks, wow, you must be a very skilled player. I'll have a look, Yeonchul says, reaching for Hyun-Seong's phone. The printer in the office whirs, ready for another document. Yeonchul stands thoughtfully by the printer, a new contract printing out. Holding the freshly printed pages, Yeonchul asks, is this contract written by the same guild that gave you the contract you showed me before? Yeonchul, in profile, confirms Hyun-Seong's suspicion with a serious expression. Hyun-Seong, startled, asks, how did you know? The legal consultant explains the overall format is identical except for some of the details. Yeonchul continues, the new one has lesser unfair clauses, but I'd say that both of them are pretty much the same. He notes the new termination fee is 5 times the down payment, then questions why they'd send to different contracts. Hyun-Seong looks pensive, processing Yeonchul's astute observation. I'm assuming that there's an internal conflict within the guild, Hyun-Seong theorizes. His gaze distant. Yeonchul smirks. It must be pretty intense over there. judging by the fact that they sent you to different contracts. It's a plus on your side, though, Hyun advises with a smile. You just have to read both of them carefully and sign whichever contract suits you better. Hyun-Seong strokes his chin, thoughtfully weighing his next move. Hyun-Seong requests, "Could you write me a revised version of the contract without the unfair clauses?" To which Hyun agrees. The scene shifts to the exterior of the Black Hotel under a dark, starry sky. Hyun-Seong scrolls through a blind board for Seo-Woo Guild, noting posts about internal conflict, thinking, what a mess. Lying in bed, Hyun-Seong muses over the names. Guildmaster Ma Ji-hoon and Vice Guildmaster Young Sung-woo, was it? A mischievous glint in his eye, Hyun-Seong thinks, let's have some fun, shall we? As he makes a call. Yeah, it's me. Choi Hyun-Seong, he says into the phone with a knowing smirk. On the other end, a flustered Ko Jin-sung asks, have you made your decision? Hyun-Seong maintains a confident, sly smile as he listens to Ko Jin-sung. He boldly declares, I've decided the down payment is too small. I'd like to double it and get to 100 billion. Ko Jin-sung, taken aback, stammers, I can't give you an answer just yet, but I think we may be able to arrange that. Ko Jin-sung, surprised, counters on the phone, okay, how about 300 billion? Hyun-Seong, with a sly smile, questions, you're not serious, are you? Laughing, Hyun-Seong reveals to another caller, actually, Ko Jin-sung from the first headhunting team called me personally. The other person on the line remarks, according to what I've heard, you two don't seem to get along that well. The caller grits his teeth, clearly agitated by the mention of his rival. He then firmly states, whatever he offers you, we're going to offer you more. I can guarantee that. Hyun-Seong smirks at his phone, musing, wow, I guess they really hate each other. As an incoming call from Seo-Woo Guild Ko Jin-sung appears, Hyun-Seong says, okay, then. Answering the new call, Hyun-Seong playfully greets, Ko Jin-sung of Seo-Woo Guild's first headhunting team. How can I help you? Ko Jin-sung asks if he reviewed the contract, to which Hyun-Seong replies, I went over it, and I'm pretty positive about it. Ko Jin-sung, eager on the phone, says he was about to call Hyun-Seong to sign. Hyun-Seong, with a sly grin, cryptically replies, but I don't think that will be necessary anymore. A puzzled Ko Jin-sung asks what he means, as Hyun-Seong reveals he sent a contract by text. Hyun-Seong, still smirking, prompts Ko Jin-sung to review the document he just sent. Ko Jin-sung, slightly hesitant, agrees to look at the new contract immediately. Seated at his desk, Ko Jin-sung opens the contract Hyun-Seong texted him. Hyun-Seong, casually on his phone, asks if Ko Jin-sung has reviewed his terms. Hyun-Seong then advises, next time, have your people agree on one thing first. A visibly stressed Ko Jin-sung listens as Hyun-Seong declares, the 100 billion down payment insufficient. Ko Jin-sung stares in disbelief as Hyun-Seong begins to propose a new, much higher figure. Ko Jin-sung, veins popping, reluctantly offers, let's go with 300 billion. Hyun-Seong, with a slight frown, retorts sharply, now look here. Smirking, Hyun-Seong dismisses the offer, are you kidding me? Then forget about it. Hyun-Seong decisively ends the call with Ko Jin-sung. With a mischievous grin, Hyun-Seong edits an audio file, message sent, and here we go. A notification dings as the phone simultaneously receive an MP3 file from Hyun-Seong. Hyun-Seong casually tosses his old phone away. The phone lands in the trash, as Hyun-Seong declares, and I'm gonna treat myself to a new phone. An audio player shows a voicemail from Choi Hyun-Seong being played. The person on the other end of the line listens with wide, shocked eyes. The recipient of Hyun-Seong's voicemail listens, a bead of sweat on his temple, clearly stressed. 1 month later, the imposing Seo-Woo Guild building stands under a bright, cloudy sky. Inside an office, an impatient finger taps repeatedly on a polished desk. A furious executive leans back, demanding, where the hell did Choi Hyun-Seong go? His subordinate nervously reports Hyun-Seong hasn't appeared at any of their managed dungeons. The subordinate continues, explaining he's hired people to search, but to no avail. With a sharp glare, the executive snaps, is that the best you can do? You're such a disappointment. He then fiercely commands his underling to find Hyun-Seong at all cost. The subordinate internally recalls that it's been a month since Hyun-Seong sent that fateful audio file. He grimly acknowledges that because of it, Seo-Woo Guild has now been split in two. The subordinate explains the guild fractured due to the feud between the guildmaster and vice guildmaster. He laments that even Seo-Woo Guild struggles to access official dungeon entry records kept by the government. Worse still, internal information sharing has become nearly impossible within the fractured guild. But the subordinate clenches his fist, admitting the real crisis is Choi Hyun-Seong vanishing completely. Meanwhile, the executive calmly pours himself a drink at his desk. He then questions his subordinate. Think he joined another guild? The nervous subordinate stammers, "Probably not, sir," as the executive takes a thoughtful sip. Suddenly, the executive slams his glass down, shouting, "Is that the best answer you can give me?" His eyes blazing with fury, he screams at his underling, "Get the hell out of my face." The terrified subordinate flees as the executive hurls his glass, shattering it against the door. An empty, sterile hallway reflects the tense atmosphere within Seo-Woo Guild. A stern executive strides past a bowing subordinate, who offers a nervous "Good morning, sir." Other employees watch with trepidation as the imposing figure walks by, their greetings cut short. The executive, clad in a sharp suit and sunglasses, purposefully makes his way through the office. He grits his teeth, internally cursing the dire situation he finds himself in. His hand clenches on an office chair as he reflects on the guild's fractured loyalty. He internally fumes that most members now support Ji-hoon, thanks to Hyun-Seong's leaked audio and contract. A bead of sweat forms as he realizes he must find Choi Hyun-Seong immediately. Meanwhile, far away, Hyun-Seong muses he's earned substantial points just from hunting. Wielding his weapon, Hyun-Seong is astounded. 600,000 points per day from hunting alone. Hyun-Seong taps his holographic screen, musing, "That's a lot of points, like they say. Every penny counts." A notification dings. Item has been sold. As he notes his batteries are hot on the market, his gloved hand gestures upwards, a determined glint in his eye. Catching a device, Hyun-Seong smirks, "If I keep this up, I'll be rich in no time." He then considers a new challenge. The problem is, as a dark aura emanates from his hand, his item listings fill the screen, revealing a massive point balance, but he declares, "I need more slots." Swiping across the interface, Hyun-Seong grumbles, "It takes too much work to list them one by one." He taps the screen again, wishing, "I wish I could register them in bulk as I would do in games." A close-up shows Hyun-Seong's eyes, focused and calculating his next move. Looking at his current listings, he adds, "And I don't want to delete my electronics listing." Hyun-Seong ponders if upgrading his seller class would make a difference. As others list countless items, his eyes narrow with focus, considering his options. He notes a top seller, Recommerce, lists numerous stat boost aids. Checking his balance, he sees he's over halfway to the 10 billion points needed for a class upgrade. As a monster growls, spear aimed, Hyun-Seong thinks perhaps he needs to hunt more. A spear whistles past his head, narrowly missing him. But it wasn't aimed at him. The spear strikes a monster squarely in the head. Hyun-Seong gracefully leaps, dodging any potential counterattack. The impaled monster thuds heavily onto the ground, defeated. A bright blue light flashes in Hyun-Seong's gloved hand as he collects his spoils. A blue magic missile zips past, narrowly missing a spear-wielding monster. Hyun-Seong smirks slightly, a bead of sweat on his temple, muttering, "Oh man." He faces a group of muscular, frog-like monsters, acknowledging, "These guys are tricky." One monster's long, purple tongue drips a clear, viscous liquid. The droplet sizzles on the ground, explaining why this hunting spot is deserted. Hyun-Seong swiftly leaps backward, kicking up dust from the impact. 3 spear-wielding frog monsters lunge towards Hyun-Seong from different directions. As the monsters croak, Hyun-Seong calmly conjures a flickering fireball in his palm. A massive fiery explosion engulfs the area where the monster stood. Through the smoke, menacing yellow eyes appear, as Hyun-Seong's own eye widens in surprise. A spear-wielding frog monster lunges, croaking, as Hyun-Seong deftly sidesteps. Hyun-Seong clicks his tongue, facing to more agile frog monsters. With a confident smirk, Hyun-Seong beckons, "Come to Papa." He bursts into a sprint, closing the distance instantly. Hyun-Seong charges head-on into the trio of spear-wielding amphibians. One frog monster croaks, its long tongue lolling out in anticipation. A swift slash connects, and the monster croaks in shocked pain. Hyun-Seong whirls, his bladed weapon a blur of motion. His eyes narrow with deadly focus, cloak billowing behind him. With a clean slice, a frog monster's head goes flying. Hyun-Seong stands victorious as the last frog monster falls lifelessly. His crimson cloak flutters, stained with the aftermath of battle. Valuable green crystals, the spoils of war, litter the ground. Wiping his hand, Hyun-Seong smirks, "Well, that was easy." His eyes widen slightly as a notification chime breaks the silence. "Item has been sold," the system announces, prompting his thought. "Looks like somebody bought all my batteries." Another unexpected ding makes Hyun-Seong turn, a questioning "huh?" escaping him. A new notification appears. Crow has filed a complaint, and Hyun-Seong mutters, "A complaint? I've got a bad feeling about this." A bead of sweat rolls down his temple as he stares at the ominous message. "Let me read the complaint first," he decides, tapping the holographic interface. The complaint demands Hyun-Seong slash his battery price in half within 12 hours, or face consequences. He dismissively swishes the screen, exclaiming, "What?" at the audacious request. Hyun-Seong realizes with annoyance they're all the same complaints. He pulls up the profile of the complainer, revealing a long list of their own items for sale. His eyes narrow, identifying the troublemaker. Crow, is it? Hyun-Seong notes Crow sells a wide variety of items, from stat boosts to weapons. A flicker of confusion crosses his face as he wonders. Crow only bought batteries from me. His sales log confirms Crow indeed purchased multiple sets of his batteries. Hyun-Seong muses he'd understand complaints about obscure electronics, like shavers or old cameras. But he scoffs, holding up batteries, complaining about my hottest item. They sell out instantly. Hyun-Seong scoffs. You gotta be kidding me. Sell batteries at half price. He dismisses the ridiculous demand, and within a time limit *U* set, he taps a fresh batch of batteries, a plan forming. Hyun-Seong glares defiantly. Why the hell would I? With a decisive tap, he lists the new batteries on the market. Item registration complete. The system confirms his listing. Almost instantly, a new notification pops up. Item has been sold. Hyun-Seong smirks confidently. I knew it. His eyes gleam with a shrewd understanding of the market. But a more severe system warning appears. Crow's complaint could lead to suspension. Hyun-Seong turns, surprised by another ding and a new notification. The system warns, Crow's complaint could lead to suspension or a downgraded buyer rating. A dark smirk spreads across Hyun-Seong's face. Okay, I get it. You're trying to get me banned. Huh. He decisively snatches one of his batteries from his inventory. Hyun-Seong glares at the warning, a defiant challenge in his eyes. Well, bring it.